Thomas Tuchel's busy trying to bring glory back to England for the first time since '66. But how did he get here? Well, from the sleepy town of Krumbach via some giants of European football, here's his journey to Wembley. Sitting around 60 miles west of Munich, Krumbach's population is less than 14,000 people. But Tuchel's friends there remember a boy whose ambitions lay far beyond the Bavarian community. His will to win was evident early. Tuchel often captained his youth football teams, and his school side lifted the national German football trophy in 1987. The Sport took the young defender on a whistle-stop tour of South Germany, from Augsburg to Stuttgart and then Ulm. A knee injury ended his playing career at the age of 25, though. Tuchel accepted his first coaching role in the Stuttgart youth setup in 2000, hired by none other than Ralf Rangnick. Under Tuchel's stewardship, the club's under-19s won their league title in 2005. But Stuttgart chose not to renew his contract, feeling Tuchel had an abrasive personality. He went on to manage Augsburg's second team before spending 5 years at the helm at Mainz. He then followed in Jurgen Klopp's footsteps and moved from Mainz to Dortmund. Here, Tuchel secured his first major silverware, the German Cup, in 2017. 8 more major trophies came next for Tuchel in just 5 glorious seasons. He won 2 Ligue 1 titles and a pair of domestic cups as PSG boss. At Chelsea, he famously lifted the Champions League as well as a Super Cup and a Club World Cup, and he also bagged a Bundesliga at Bayern Munich. And then, 4 months after leaving Bayern, Tuchel was unveiled as England's new manager.
I always wanted to come back to England. That was my big goal. I have the best memories of the country, of the league and of the players, the attitude towards the game, the attitudes from the supporters.
Well, here's hoping Tuchel can finally drag England over the line at a major tournament.
Good afternoon, you're listening to Max Rushden and Charlie Baker on talkSPORT. H&J for the Now That's What I Call Music 12 generation. What's coming up between now and 4, Charlie?
Hi everyone, I love this show and I love you, Max. Coming up today, Darren Gough will join us to look back at an encouraging day for England, and in capitals, the cheating Aussie snickometer. Mickey Hazard is on to talk about a new campaign Spurs are doing with the Samaritans, and Gareth A. Davis is in Miami ahead of AJ versus Jake Paul.
Too tough to call that fight for me, Clive. Alex Crook's transfer notebook is open. We'll find out who's going where. Paul Nicholson will give us the latest on the PDC from Ali Pally, and Henry Winter will tell us if FIFA giving out 5 quid tickets is enough.
We'll do some Celtic, a big game tonight for Wilfred Nancy, a terrible game for Wilfred Nancy tonight. I bet he's hating it. Should have stayed. There's the final round of group stage games in the Women's Champions League and a Carabao Cup quarter-final preview.
Ben Ross says, yes, boys, let's have it. All that between now and 4. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Charlie.
Afternoon, Max. Nice to see you. Very nice to see you, as always. To see you nice.
I was enjoying. I was enjoying.
Yes.
Straight off with the impressions.
Yeah, I can't do impressions. Let's remember that.
I enjoyed that. Was a good one. I was enjoying the Jim White, Simon Jordan, Danny Murphy. Will an Englishman ever win the Ballon d'Or again? But it is a bit like, will there ever be a boy who can swim faster than a shark? And frankly, I would listen to that. If they were forced to do that for half an hour, I would really enjoy that debate.
And also, of course, Mike Parry, will there ever be a man who can run the 100 metres in 1 second?
Listen,
which is his...
Eventually,
maybe, because as the times come down, when will it stop? When will it stop? That's what people are texting in. 81089.
Do you see? Was that tweet from Wilfred Nancy really him?
I don't know.
It is. I don't know. I mean, I hope it is.
It's a Venn diagram, isn't it, Max? And what does it say on the Venn diagram?
It says things. Hang on, I've got it. So let me find it, because we don't want to do him a disservice. At least let's get the Venn diagram right. It said it's a Venn diagram. And one circle says things that matter, and one circle, and obviously with the Venn diagram, as we all know, they just overlap slightly.
Just a little
things
bit
you
of
can
overlapping
control.
there. Yeah.
And it's the little bit in between. So it's so basically what you should focus on with a big arrow. What you should focus on, double underline, things that matter is in one circle.
Let's say that's Max.
Can control.
Let's say that's Max on the left there. Things that matter. Me on the right. Things you can control. And in the middle there.
But that's how we should view the show. I mean, it's not. Yeah. It's like a lot of the sort of, self-improvement, high-performance BS.
Yes.
Sort of, there is an element of truth to it, right?
Yeah.
Lots of things matter in the world. You and I cannot control them, Charlie. We can control one thing at the moment, which is the things that come out of our mouth. The question is actually with this Venn diagram is, do the circles overlap? Because I have a feeling that things that matter and things that come out of our mouth are two separate circles.
Two separate things.
They're two separate things.
You might be right.
Control
the controllables, Max, they say, don't they? Perhaps people would like to send us this afternoon some...
Venn diagrams on radio.
Either Venn diagrams. Venn diagrams on radio. I'm a radio Venn diagram. I'm here for that. What is this?
Absolutely.
What is this? Talk diagram?
The brief of the show, try and do it in a way that no one else is doing. It's like, can you ever come up with a new idea? Is there a new idea in radio? And I think we've hit upon it.
We've hit it.
Venn diagrams.
Yeah, people love
So how
that.
are people going to get... I think you can, actually. If you text us or WhatsApp us a photo, it does come through on the text board. Now, telling the listeners that is risky, of course.
You asked me to text you photos, Max. People get in trouble for this.
Yeah, but it has a Venn diagram filter, so it'll only accept Venn diagrams.
Or if you want to write a phrase and then another phrase, and then the third phrase we assume is in the middle.
If you want to do radio Venn diagrams, frankly, I'm here. Cancel all the guests. I'm here for 3 hours of radio Venn diagrams. I do have an idea for a text topic.
Oh, good.
So obviously, when I moved to Australia, the bosses were like, "Look, you don't lie about it, but don't make a big deal of it." You know, for example, if it's really cold and foggy in the UK, don't say I was at the pool with the family and it was 33 degrees.
I like they gave you direction. They gave you some.
They gave me direction. Don't get an Australian accent.
Okay.
Don't lose the zeitgeist. People are listening. You know, they need to feel. And people know I'm a man of the people, right? However far away I am, I'm relatable.
Very much.
I'm just one of those guys. So I've said before, we didn't even have a full size harp in the music room.
Have you said that? Yeah, you have said that before.
Yeah, yes. Ben says this is good. Venn diagram of your show. Woke lefty libtard nonsense in one circle. Off to 5 Live I go in the other. Concentric circles.
Yeah, that isn't a Venn diagram. That's two of the same. That's two of the same things.
Anyway, I was swimming with the family, 33 degrees today. Okay, Charlie.
Wow.
I stood up to probably get one of young Ian Rushden's toy motorbikes that another child had taken, and he was sort of grieving in the middle of the pool about it.
Yeah.
And there was a big rip that I didn't know about, and I exposed my entire buttock to the swimming pool.
Yes.
So Mrs. Rushden
Which
very
shocks
excited
me about you,
this.
Max, because I have a Venn diagram of people who are trouser split. You're either a trouser splitter or you're not. I always think.
Yeah, and I would have myself down.
I am very much a trouser splitter. You are not a trouser splitter in
I've
any
moved
way.
from one side of the Venn diagram to the other side of the Venn diagram. But what's the question? Is it I was accidentally naked, Your Honour. Is that?
Oh, not in the pool. You're not accidentally naked, are you?
Well, I was accidentally exposing my.
And I was hanging out.
I looked down, and my buttocks were there. Oh, that's what you want. You want. I was just thinking just back. You're thinking front and back.
Well,
I looked.
I'm not thinking of anything, but now I am. The Mickey van der Ven diagram. That's very nice.
That is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's okay. So what's the question?
I don't know.
That's the story. It's a good story.
It's a great story.
Is it? I ripped my trousers.
Yeah.
Ripping trousers
is lovely, sure. and I discovered I was hanging out of my trousers. In some cases, poking out of my trousers. Yeah. But some people hanging out of my trousers.
I think it should be. So Matt says you can see pictures. You said sent a selfie.
Selfie
with a thumbs up.
That's very
Thanks,
nice.
Matt. That's very kind of you. So it is. No, I think it's just let's keep it niche. I accidentally exposed my buttocks. What about that?
Accidentally. We don't want on purpose.
No, we don't. That's a different subject for a different. That is, I think, when they were doing Simon was doing a really heavy bit about could a boy run faster than a shark. He was also doing the text topic. When have you accidentally exposed your buttocks?
And we've had another text topic like that come in about. Hi, gents. It's Andy in Newport. Will there ever be a human who can throw the javelin over a mile? Something to ponder, especially for athletic stadium designers.
Aren't they doing, with the big steroid games, or whatever they're called, the enhanced games? Yeah. Aren't they, that's what they're heading towards.
It's called the steroid games.
It's called the steroid. But, they should. Really, it is, isn't it?
Okay,
isn't that what it is?
Like
the enhanced games will be 100 metres in 1 second and a javelin going a mile. So, you're right. They need to build something for that.
But yes, my buttocks were accidentally hanging out or something along those lines.
They're not,
whatever it is.
That is giving the impression that my buttocks are some sort of. I mean, they were within. They weren't hanging. They were just exposed.
It's basically a story. You were swimming in a children's swimming pool and your bum was out.
Yeah, it was. You are listening to Rushden Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station. Darren Gough joins us next. Afternoon, you're listening to Rushden Baker on talkSPORT. Ian has sent us our first Venn diagram. Max on one side, Charlie on the other, Tosh written in the middle. Appreciate that. And this is from Warren in Bolton. Afternoon, boys. Been listening to you since the start of the show. I think I'm enjoying it, but I don't have a clue what you're both wittering on about. No offence intended. None taken.
I think I'm enjoying
it.
Is a great way to look at things.
It's good enough. Anyway, let's welcome Darren Goff to the studio. Goffy, how are you?
Yes, I'm okay, mate. Good to see you. I've not seen you for a long time.
No, I know. No, you still got the 4 lawnmowers?
I sold a couple. I've just got
did you?
Yeah, sold a couple. Well, I gave one away. It was a classic, actually. You'd look right up your street, this. He
Here
came,
we go. Okay.
And I said to him, look, I bought a new one off him, one of those mulchers now that it just swallows the grass. Basically.
Oh, yeah,
He's
lovely.
cut it.
Yeah,
So I love
okay.
that. I said, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
You can take that one away anyway, the old one, because that's 10, 12 years old now. And I said, that's totally gone. He said, oh, I've got another one there. You've got a talkSPORT badge on it. I said, yeah. I said, what, do you want to buy it? He said, well, it's not worth any money, mate. It's rubbish.
branded.
He said, but I'll take it away. I'll take it away. And I played golf 3 weeks later. This is honest truth, Max. And the guy says, "Oh, I've got your old lawnmower. I bought it off a local dealer in Milton Keynes."
Yeah.
I went, "Which one?" He said, "Oh, it had talkSPORT branding on it, like a sticker." I went, "Oh, he told me you were going to scrap that and it was worth nothing."
Sold it.
So I've not seen
You've
him.
been had there, Goffy.
I've been had, mate. I've been had, but he's going to
If
get
you'd
it. when I
taken the
see-
sticker off, it would have been worth more.
Yeah, it was actually a decent lawnmower. It was too quick. I'll tell you why I had to get rid of it.
What was it? A Kubota? What was it?
No, I can't remember what it was, but a Mackenzie or something like that.
Yeah.
But the lady who comes and does my grass, she's only small,
All right.
and she couldn't reach the pedals. So she crashed it a couple of times, like leaning forward.
Right.
And it's one of them where if your weight's not on the seat, it cuts out, right?
Right.
So
It's
she
not
was
child-
laid back
child
into
labour.
it and pressing on the accelerator,
Yeah.
and she kept going through the fencing. So we couldn't use it anymore.
She's done it before. You've not just employed someone who's...
She's really small. And I mean small.
Yeah, wow. Some blocks.
Jimmy Cranky is
We put
doing
blocks
Darren
on.
Goff's garden. This is amazing.
Who's
Anyway,
mowing Darren's garden is our new text topic.
let's talk about the cricket, Goffy. England, Australia finished 326 for 8. Geoff Archer got 3 for 29. By far the pick of the bowlers. I mean, the main headline is the Snicko not working. It is it is what it is, right?
It's
But
so
a real
Australian, Max. You
It's such a
listen. You
bummer,
live
innit?
over there, mate. Now it's so Australian, isn't it? I see. Back when we toured in the 90s, the umpires basically just said, "Oh, I didn't see it," or "I didn't hear it." I mean, even when in '98, you remember, for people who are cricket fans, they'll remember '98. We went over there, and we were going to win, and we were going to draw the series 2-2. We'd just won in Melbourne. It would have been fantastic. I got the hat-trick in Sydney at that same game.
Yeah.
Michael Slater was run out by 3 yards. And somehow they found one bit of footage that showed them where somebody were blocking the view. But even with blocking the view, you could still see he was 1.5 yards away from getting in. And they gave him benefit of the doubt.
And what happens in the dressing room afterwards? Does someone have to? Does the captain go and say to the umpire or the
Manager
match
would have gone
referees?
straight
The manager goes there, and
As
so
soon
with
as it
this,
happens.
when there's proof, it must drive him mad.
Well, and what can you do? The decision being made, it showed no snick off. To be honest, when they saw it, they didn't look overly convinced, England themselves, so it must have been a little one.
Right? Yeah.
But I love it how Carey come out and said, "Oh yeah, I nicked it." Oh, I love that. It's so Alex Carey, isn't it? He really knows how to wind England
When
up.
you've got away with it, you would say, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'll be honest now. Back in the day, '97, I'll do
here we
it.
go.
It's a first. I was on 99,
Oh right, yeah.
and Sean Pollock was bowling at me, and I nicked it at keeper, and the umpire knew I nicked it, but he gave me not out, and he winked at me because he wanted me to get 100. Next ball, I smashed Pollock for 4 to get 100. So I'm admitting it. I nicked it
It's
on
a
99.
century with an
Take it off me.
with an
That's
asterisk.
really good.
Take
I
it
love
off
the
me,
idea
Matt.
I love the idea of Steve Buckner really slowly winking at you like this. Benning is just going, there you go, it's all okay.
He owed me one.
It's a wonderful moment for Carey, right? He lost his dad in September, and it's Adelaide's his home ground, and he did bat. He batted absolutely brilliantly, and I don't know what you think, Goffy. I think that's a really encouraging day. Like, we're in a situation now where England could lose the Ashes in any day they play. And we didn't lose it today. We fought hard. Archer bowled well. I think the Australian wickets, a lot of them were soft, which we haven't really seen for the rest of this tour. But we kept on plugging away. And I think you have to chalk it down as a good day.
Yes, well, we're still in it after one day, which has got to be a good day. Normally, I think all I've asked for going into day 2, when I watch it tonight, all I'm going to ask for, and this is a small target, England, try and get to the second new ball.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Get to the second new ball. That's to bat 80 overs. See if you can manage that, guys.
Yeah.
If you can bat 80 overs, we're in this game. We're definitely in this game. We can bat 80 overs.
But that's not how they're told to bat, is it, Goffey?
It's not how they're told to be honest, both teams play an aggressive brand of cricket. Australia tend to be a little bit more intelligence into the way to play. They pick moments of the game where they know they have to dig in.
Yeah.
Today was the first time Australia kind of played some ridiculous poor shots. I mean, you look at Labuschagne, you look at Khawaja getting caught in the boundary, you even look at Carey, fine 100, but
Careless.
that shot there, I mean, and the two at the start, Weatherall, what was that shot?
Yeah.
And
odd,
head. So realistically, the first 4 wickets were all miss-it shots from. So they've given England a sniff. 320 odd, I don't know the exact figure, what is it? 326 for 8, right?
Yeah.
Is a good day for England. To get them 8 down on a hot day, flat pitch in Adelaide, we're in the game.
Okay.
We're in the game after day 1. I like that.
And there's been so much talk about Archer, and he did bowl well today, and he bowled because actually his first the pitch looked really, the first 2 balls, the ball died on its way to Smith, and I was like, oh no, we're done here. But actually, he really did. He picked it up, he bowled well, and he came back again. It wasn't just like 5 overs. I was really impressed. I was really pleased for him.
How many people, when the score was 30 for none after 5 overs, thought I'm switching this off? They're going to get 400 for 2. Today. Well, England came back well. Archer was excellent. Now, a little bit of a negative, not a negative for that, but if I'm trying to be positive here, because I'm obviously I want England to win this Test match. But if Archer looked $1 million on that pitch, he had a bit of tennis ball bounce. There was a little bit in it. It definitely turned and bounced. You look at some of the dismissals as well from Will Jacks, who went for a few, but he got a little bit of turn and bounce and got harder as the day went on. And with the temperature set to rise again tomorrow, I am a little bit concerned because if Archer, who's our one gun bowler, can bowl like that, they've got Stark.
Yeah.
Cummins is coming back after a long time out, 4 months out, so we'll have to see how he rocks up. And Boland, who we know puts it on a sixpence.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting too carried away yet, but I said first target, try and bat 80 overs because we've done 33, I think 77 and 76.
Yeah, we seem to bowl at the stumps a bit more today than we have been.
Well, after the first hour, we did.
Yeah.
The first hour was poor, wasn't it? But Cass, he swung the ball, but just bowled too short. And then, as normally happens when you're swinging it, you try and do too much with it, and then you end up going the other way and get cut. But Stokes is a magnificent performer. He led from the front. He took the second new ball, which might have surprised a lot of people. But Cass wasted it really, didn't he, this morning? So, like I say, you always judge a game when both teams have batted on it. So we're in the game after day 1.
Yeah.
Positivity.
Let's go.
Let's see what we're like on day 2.
Stay with us, Goffey, please. On the subject of my buttocks were exposed. Happened to me today, Goffey, at the swimming pool. Kevin Birmingham writes, recently I was waiting at Carlisle Station to Birmingham along with my bike. I was told to wait at the end of the platform where the front of the train would stop, as this was where the compartments for bikes would go. When the train pulled in, the bike compartment was at the rear of the 9-carriage train. I quickly started to hurry along the train to the back of it. In my haste, the drawstring on my shorts caught on the handlebars of the bike, causing my shorts to slip down and expose my rear end.
There it was.
Much to the amusement of the passengers on the train and rail staff on the platform. It was like a scene from Some Mothers Do Have 'Em, says Kev. Keep those coming, please.
Yes, please.
1889 at Max Rushden.
Goffey's a professional cricketer. I was going to say he's born with his bum out, but then I realised we were all born with our bums out.
The humour of cricketers is very much that when you're doing an interview is to pull your shorts down. So exposing our buttocks.
I've got my bum out now.
Yeah.
Come on, that is just that's this is what I'm trying to make here is the difference between this very highbrow, clever text topic and that kind of sporty banter. We're better than that. Anyway, it's lovely to have Darren Goff in the studio, and he's with me and Charlie Baker, and we're here till 4. Don't forget, by the way, before you break, the best reaction to every day of the third test. Check out the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel and the Following On podcast.
often you associate fan power with Chelsea Football Club, but one of the shining examples of it lies with a group called the Chelsea Pitch Owners. And they've proved to be the thorn in the side of owners past and present who've been dead set on moving stadiums to a larger, more lucrative piece of land. Essentially, the supporters group holds the freehold to the land on which Stamford Bridge sits. Former owner Ken Bates set it up at a time where some unruly property developers tried to evict the club from their ground. In order to prevent this, he established the CPO as a company that owned the pitch and offered the fans the chance to buy a share for £100. As well as that, they also own the rights to the name Chelsea Football Club, so if any owner wants to take them elsewhere, they can't be called Chelsea without the approval from the CPO. Now, in 2011, Roman Abramovich tried and failed to move them away from Stamford Bridge, and this has set a precedent for Todd Bowley and the current power brokers at Chelsea. They know any plan which involves moving from Stamford Bridge will require CPO approval from the now 13,000 fans who own it. There are fans who are concerned that if they stay at the bridge, they'll be left behind their domestic and European rivals who are moving to more commercially successful stadiums. But for the heritage and history lovers, Stamford Bridge is one of the iconic English stadiums, and to move away would be a grave mistake. It might not be as flashy as others, but stadiums like it have something about them that cannot be replaced. One thing's for sure, if Bowley wants to take Chelsea away from their home, he'll have to go through the CPO first.
Good afternoon, you're listening to Rushden Baker on talkSPORT between now and 4. Darren Goff in the studio looking back at the first day of the third test. Steve Harmison was on the Following On podcast alongside John Norman after the first day of the test, and he said tomorrow is an important day for one England batsman in particular.
It's a big innings for Harry Brook in the context of this series, but also the context of his career as well. Responsibility, vice-captain, 30-odd test matches. Harry Brook needs to stand up because, yes, he's averaging 50, but can you do it in a big series away from home? He done it in Pakistan, done it in New Zealand, not chance to India. This will be a big statement of Harry Brooks to go and make a big score in this game and get England back in the series.
Best reaction to every day of the third test. You can check out the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel and the Following On podcast. I mean, we haven't got the 2 wickets yet, Goffy, so I'm loath to start talking about our innings. But look, it's big for him, but it's big for
Ollie Pope.
Duckett hasn't got a run yet. Pope needs it. We need two of them to get centuries and just somehow just go on. Someone just get 500.
Well, firstly, that was a very positive 30 seconds from Harmy because he has been off his long run for the last 3 weeks, hasn't he? He has totally lost the plot with his management.
And fair enough, right?
And Bazball. Yeah, and fair play to him. He has been highly critical. But I think he's got it slightly wrong there. I'm with you. I think it's a big day, not just for Harry Brook. He does average 57. He's got a little bit of leeway, right? He said he's going to rein it in, so let's wait and see. But I think it's a big day for Crawley, Duckett and Pope more than anything. The top three is massive. Get past the new ball. On that pitch, you've got to be thinking 3 figures. The good players get in on these pitches and they get big ones. If Smith would have played and got in there, he would have, my word, I wouldn't even want to think if he'd have been playing in this game. He got past, first 20 balls, he's going on and getting 100 on that pitch. If Joe Root's the same, gets past that first 10, 20 balls, I expect Joe Root to get a big score as well.
And also, not just to get the runs. I can't remember who I saw. So somebody after the game was talking about this, saying, look, Archer he needs a day off now. Like, that's what the bowlers need. He needs to be given 5 pillows and put in a dark room and say, listen, you don't have to do anything. Like, get these 2 wickets, knock them off, and then the bowlers can just lie down. Like, Cast is exhausted. Like, he gives every delivery. It's sort of like, he gives absolutely everything. These guys are exhausted.
Not as much as Goffey gave it. I mean, Goffey gave it absolutely everything at all times.
Every day, mate.
And was never
now
ever
look
tired.
at him, and look at what it's done to him.
Metal all over my body. The difference is now, Max, and Army agrees with me on this. We've talked about this. In Test matches now, just the way they train and do everything, they're very fit to go in the gym.
Yeah.
But let's be straight about this. They can't bowl back-to-back 20 overs first innings, 20 overs second innings. They can't do it. They just can't do it. Archer can't do it at the minute. He's hardly played any cricket. Wood can't do it. Just to get 11 overs out of Wood was hard work, like pulling teeth, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult.
So what's the
Cast
difference?
is the same because the train now in the gym, a lot of work's in their gym. They don't bowl overs. They don't play 4-day cricket. You look at the overs going into this Test series that they're bowled. Stokes had not bowled in a first-class game. Archer had not bowled in a first-class game. Wood had not bowled in a first-class game.
Yeah.
Atkinson had bowled 66 overs, I think. The only one who had played was Potts. And guess what? He's not playing.
Yeah.
He's there, but he's not played a game,
So
and he
it's
won't
not
play a game.
physically in their body. It's not.
They can't do it. They can't do it because these days they prepare for 3-day matches. In our day, you had to prepare for 5-day matches, and we were almost like marathon runners. But now they're trained to sprint.
With the greatest of respect, some of the cricketers from the 80s and 90s.
Do you remember David Boone?
We all like good
David Boone won the Boston Marathon in 1994.
When Mike Gatting ran that marathon, when he ran that marathon.
Hey, Gat was a good runner.
I apologise.
Surprise you. It might surprise you. That people like Lamb, Gooch, Gat.
Yeah.
Because all they used to do back then, they didn't really go in a gym, right? Was run.
Yeah.
And all 3 of them, remarkably good runners. And you've seen Beefy walk. He walks quicker than I run.
I'm not throwing any shade on Mike Gatting. He's more of a sportsman than I ever will be. It was a cheap shot.
But for him to have a 2-hour 15 PB in the marathon,
it's unbelievable.
It really surprises me. I mean, the pressure is. I mean, so fascinating.
I mean,
to see how...
like a lot of marathon runners, some of them have booed themselves in the street.
That is true. What I thought was interesting, Goffey, when Stokes, because it's going to be so interesting to see how England bat. And when Stokes, obviously, he dug in with Will Jackson in the last Test.
Yeah.
And I think because we were all so desperate to see some England player do something good, we were like, oh, this is amazing. And then he came out and he was a bit more self-reflective and a bit more critical. And we just thought that's what we wanted to hear that. And then I heard Sam Perry on the Grade Cricketer podcast, which is a really good podcast, saying, look, if you're Ollie Pope, you've had years of someone saying, hit on the up. Hit on the up, go harder. And now he's just dug in when the game's dead and then said, I'm not sure about our mentality. Are you thinking, well, hang on a sec, mate. You've been telling me to do what I've been doing for years.
But also, Matt, on that point, for the whole of county cricket, I'm assuming, they've been told if you want to get selected for England, this is how you play. So they're coming through and playing like that.
You're both right. And that's why a lot of ex-cricketers, or has-beens, as we've been called, a lot of guys, but county cricket now is irrelevant because you're not picked on your county cricket performances. Some guys are going on the A tour having never played a first-class game because they said, I saw him bowling the nets and he can bowl at 83 miles an hour. They've got a speed gun on you. If he bowls at 84 miles an hour. And I heard, I'm not even going to mention his name, but one of our management group said that, look, I think we all know now there's no place in Test cricket for a guy who bowls at 78 miles an hour with a keeper stood up. Well, I don't know if you're watching, but Nisa in the last Test match got 5 for with a keeper stood up. Because if you've got skills and you've got quality, you get wickets. Jimmy Anderson was never a 90 miles an hour bowler. And a lot of people would say he's the best bowler that's ever been for England.
So that makes it even more interesting to see how England approach their first innings tomorrow.
I still think they'll play a positive brand. What we might see is if we are 20 for free.
when
we might see.
Coffee, you're being positive. We need you.
I'm always positive, mate. I'm always positive. If we are 20 for free, Max said when.
Yeah.
If we are 20 for 3, we might see Harry Brook just block a few and get to 10 or 20 before he plays his reverse sweeps.
Yeah.
I think that's what he means.
No ramp shots till 30.
Yeah. Do you think that if England lose badly in this test, that there will be a sort of massive, like someone's head
They're
will
going
roll,
into hiding. They'll all go except the captain.
Do you think?
I think
McCullum, Key.
It has to be, because I think Bazball, whatever he says, he don't like it, but I think he does, because it's talked about. Bazball, it's his brand, right? That's what he's all about. Brendan, he's a very positive person. He wants to play this. It's like, oh yeah, we'll have a beer and go watch horse racing, and we're going to come back and play the next test without any practice, and this is where we're going to play. But so far, last 30 test matches, what is it? Won 14, lost 14, and only drawn 2. It's not good enough, let's be honest. We never get to a World Test Championship final, and I think it's going to be judged now purely on this series, because we should have beat India. Let's be straight about this. India were missing their four best players. No Kohli, no Sharma, no Shami, and no Ashwin. That's 4 massive players missing for them. We didn't win that series. Now we're coming out here and we're 2-0 down. So I think it's going to be judged, no matter where you are, it's going to be judged on this series. Now, if we come back into it and make history and win the first test series from 2-0 down since Bradman in 36, 37 or whatever, wow, well, we'll all be saying, oh, keep going, let's keep going. But if we lose again and we've lost the Ashes after 3 tests, and it's like, then don't matter what happens next, I think there'll be a total change, and it'll change its mentality, and it'll be somewhere in the middle, which I think's the right way for me, somewhere in the middle. So not the Silverwood era, not the McCullum era, somewhere in the middle, common sense, where a bit of cricketing intelligence comes into play, might be the ideal where we should be.
Is there an obvious coach around who could do that?
I have no idea on the coach. Whatever, like I say, they'd have to go down. If it's a total change, there'd be a director of cricket, there'd be a selector, there'd be a coach, there'd be assistant coaches. The only one who's 100% survives is the captain. Stokes. There's no one to take over. Harry Brook is not ready to take over yet. He needs to mature his game. Ben Stokes, I think, has proven to be a good leader. He criticises himself as well in all this. He knows he expects better. And I think he will survive this no matter what. If he wants to, I think he'll offer to step down if they lose it. But I think he survives. Whoever takes over should keep him as their skipper. I think he's a good leader.
Now, this text says I finished second behind Devon Malcolm in the Great North Run in 1992. Thank you. Hey, Goffy, it's always good to see you. It's so lovely to see you, my friend. And thank you so much for coming on, pal.
Pleasure, guys. Loved it.
Darren Goff there. All the reaction, of course, on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel and the Following On podcast. Mickey Hazard, Spurs legend, will join us in just a second. Good afternoon. You are listening to Rushden Baker on talkSPORT. We're here until 4 this afternoon. After us at 4 o'clock. Who's doing Drive? I'll tell you who's doing Drive. It's
Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent.
Of course they
It's
are.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no. You're right. I don't disagree with you. It's correct. It's a statement of fact. Adrian Durham is got kick-off from 7. Man City versus Brentford in the Carabao Cup. We'll have commentary of Newcastle versus Fulham as well on talkSPORT 2. Adam Bridge, former England defender Mickey Gray with you on that one. Jim Proudfoot and Dean Ashton doing your comms of City versus Brentford. And then the Sports Bar at 10 o'clock tonight with Jason Cundy and Jermaine Pennant. Just getting some... let's talk to Mickey Hazard, Spurs legend, wonderful midfielder, beautiful pass, the sort of player that my dad would talk to me about as an absolute Spurs legend. He is part of a campaign that Tottenham are doing with the Samaritans as in the lead up to Christmas, and we can hear a clip.
I've wanted to call for a while, but I'm not sure what to say.
That's okay. Take your time.
I just feel like I haven't.
Loneliness, relationships, work, money, mental health. Many of us can struggle at Christmas.
But talking can make even the biggest problems feel smaller.
Talking saves lives.
That's why we're supporting Together Against Suicide and Samaritans.
If you need to talk,
Samaritans are here to listen, whenever, wherever.
Without judgment or pressure.
to talk is to do.
So that's an ad that the Spurs are doing with the Samaritans. Included voices. Some of those voices: Ben Davis, Archie Gray, Thomas Frank. We can talk to Spurs legend Mickey Hazard. Hey, Mickey.
Hello, Mickey.
Good afternoon, guys.
Lovely to talk to you as always. And before people text in with the obvious joke about Spurs fans calling the Samaritans, I thought I'd do it before anyone else did. This is a really important message, isn't it, that Tottenham have got involved with?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing. Not just Tottenham. I think football as well in general, the Premier League, and have joined forces with all the clubs, and the clubs have supported it 100%. And I think it's incredible that they are. The message becomes that much more powerful when you have football clubs the size of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club getting involved in something so important.
And tell us what matters to you, Mickey.
It matters to me. In 2019, my sister's 23-year-old son took his own life. Me and my sister, obviously, the family were devastated, as we still are. I don't think you ever recover, but you learn to live with it. But we decided to set up our own charity called Legend on the Bench, which was a suicide prevention charity that installs benches throughout the UK in parks and open spaces, with informative messages and telephone numbers on there for people to ring in their moment of need at the moment that they need it. And in general, the message is that someone's always listening and how important it is to talk.
I think that's the key, isn't it, Mickey, is to be able to find someone who can talk to you in that moment when you need it. And as men, we don't always talk, we don't always open our hearts, we don't always say what's in our minds, and that's often the problem, isn't it? Anything kept inside can eat us up when it's often a very temporary problem.
Yeah, I think sort of life in general sort of leads us to think like that we're the sort of leaders, we're the breadwinners as such, and we're sort of we carry an ego that says, you know, I'm big, I'm strong, I'm tough, but actually it's incredibly courageous to stand up and talk. It takes a lot of courage to do that. And on the other side of the coin, it also takes a lot of courage for people to sit down and listen. So it works twofold. We need people to have the courage to stand up and talk and not be afraid of any stigma that's attached to it. You know, often we read, I don't really know what to say, or I'm too embarrassed. No, don't be. This is far too important to be embarrassed. You know, talk talk can help save your life, but also we need people to sit down and listen and sit down and talk back.
Yeah, and listening is a skill, but you don't have to be a professional, right? You just need to be able to say, do you want to talk about it, right? And just let people... And like, none of us are professionals in this field, right? But, you know, we all listen. Everybody can listen, right? It's part of life. Conversation is part of life. And just that ability to just say, do you want to talk about it is so key, right?
Absolutely. I think the kindness, caring, I think are two of the most important things in the world. And it's sometimes, you know, you walk past the park bench, for instance, you see someone sitting on the bench. Morning, how are you?
Yeah.
It's a simple 3 or 4 words, but that 3 or 4 words can mean the world to someone who's in a dark place. It lets them know that they matter, their life matters, you know, and there's someone to talk to, there's someone interested in them, and it gives them a feeling of support, I suppose is the word. But hi, how are you? It's so simple to do, but it can mean so much to so many.
Yeah, making people feel like they're not alone. I'm just reading the stats. The biggest killer of men under 50 is suicide, and men account for approximately 3/4 of all suicides.
75%.
Yeah, it's a male problem. And as you say, reaching out, calling the Samaritans, the number for the Samaritans is 116 123 if people do need that this afternoon, because you never know when you might need that, Mickey. That's the other thing.
But that's the key. Is that, and the reason we set the benches up, and the reason why the club are doing what they're doing, joining forces with Mind and the Samaritans. Mind on a match day, you can contact them directly. It's about offering the support and the help at the very moment that it's needed. You know, what we don't want is people walking through parks late at night, feeling really low, really down, and contemplating sort of bad things. And having nowhere to go, no one to speak to, no one that'll listen. We offer something at the moment, like at a football match. Someone could be feeling that in particular at a football match.
Yeah.
And before anyone jokes, they'll probably say it's Spurs. But it's important that the moment that help and support is required, that it's there. And that's what this is offering. This wonderful video that Spurs put out is incredible. It's offering help at the very moment it's needed, and that's the key to it all. At that very moment, we can offer help, offer support, and we can talk. But we need them to find the courage, not be embarrassed, and to stand up and talk, and we can together help solve the problem.
Yeah, look, it's a wonderful thing you're doing. The charity with the benches is a wonderful thing. It's great that the club are getting involved, especially around Christmas. You know, when you're sort of bombarded with, you know, lots of images of what looks like everyone having a wonderful time, and if you think you're not, you are definitely not alone in that. So, look, Mickey, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mickey,
for coming on, Mickey. Appreciate your time.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, guys, for bringing attention to such an important cause.
Not a problem at all. That number, Charlie, you've got it in front of you.
It's 116 123. That's the number for the Samaritans, and there are other charities as well that will help. But the Samaritans are always there, 24 hours a day. So,
yeah. So look, if you are struggling, that's an excellent thing. It's a wonderful thing that Tom. They're not the only club. Loads of clubs are doing it, and you know, you're right. We talk about these things quite a lot, Charlie. Mental and physical health, and men not being great at talking about those things. So look, hopefully, if you are feeling vulnerable, like, it is not a crime to feel bad, and yeah, talk to somebody. It's Max and Charlie with you till 4.
For every good signing a club makes, there's bound to be a few that don't work out. And Man United have certainly had their fair share of those, especially since the end of their golden age under Sir Alex Ferguson. Here are just some of the Red Devils' worst signings since Fergie. First up, Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez joined United from Arsenal back in 2018 and became the highest paid player in the Prem. He'd averaged almost 1 goal every 2 games for the Gunners, but in his 45 games for Man United, he only managed 5 goals. Not what you want from a star striker. Next up, Radamel Falcao. He earned himself the nickname the Tiger for his sheer efficiency and the way he used to pounce upon the mistakes of defenders. But at Man United, he was way more pussycat than Tiger, to be honest. All he managed in 29 Man United games was 4 goals. Moving on, things couldn't have gone much worse for Jadon Sancho at Man United. Yeah, it would have been hard to outdo his Borussia Dortmund form, but 12 goals in 83 games is not great. Things got worse after a public fallout with manager Erik ten Hag. Sancho said he was being made a scapegoat. Ten Hag said there'd been a discipline issue. It all ended up with Sancho going back to Germany. Next, Erik ten Hag probably thought he was being smart in sticking to what he knew when he signed Antony from his former club Ajax. But the £86 million Brazilian hasn't really been able to hack it in the Prem. Chances are Antony's Man United days are numbered. Next, the curse of the Man United number 7 shirt. Not an easy act following Ronaldo, Cantona, Beckham and George Best, but Memphis Depay was another striker who was apparently allergic to scoring for United. He scored just 7 in 53 appearances, a huge letdown since he'd helped PSV win the Dutch league just a season before joining. Last one, Angel Di Maria was set to be United's landmark signing when he joined in 2014, but 1 season later he was already on his way out. 4 goals in 32 games was just not good enough, given he'd broken the British record transfer fee when he signed. And those are just a few examples. To be honest, the list could go on and on. Unfortunately, that's probably why Man United haven't won the Prem for a while, and why it might take a few more years before they're in contention again.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Rushden Baker on talkSPORT. We're here till 4.
Yep.
Let's do a bit of confirmation from Charlie. That's we are
just whether you like it or not, basically.
Yeah. That's the tagline for the show. Let's go to Miami, Charlie. You and me.
Yeah.
You and me and $10,000.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see what happens. Gareth A. Davis is out there
for
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. Hey, Gareth, how are you?
Hello, Gareth.
Max, Charlie, good afternoon from the ocean front here on South Beach, Miami. Beautiful morning. We've done the workouts with Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua yesterday, and we wait the press conference later this afternoon. It's a great day, and it really feels like a very big fight out here.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's a great place to people watch, by the way, just South Beach. And it's a funny old place, isn't it? It sort of feels perfect for this slightly odd fight. See Eddie Hearn, you must have discussed this, Gareth, saying, I've got no defence for this fight. It's crazy it's happening. I think the critics are spot on, but we couldn't turn it down because he's getting 50 times more money than he would for just a sort of the fight that he needed.
Exactly, it's a massive payday for a fight he almost can't lose. Whatever the script is behind the scenes on whether Anthony Joshua wants to carry him for a few rounds, because you imagine if he really wants to get him out of there, he can get him out of there at any point. Will he use the rounds? It's his first fight for 15 months after that catastrophic defeat to Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium. A warm-up fight, if you like, for the bigger things to come next year, but also the greater resonance of being on Netflix, a huge platform, 300 million subscribers, of course. So it's a win-win for him in many ways. He's just got to get the win.
Prize fighting has been around since the start of fighting. This sort of showbiz fight isn't anything new, Gareth, is it? You'll have seen hundreds of them, I'm assuming, over the years. It's just this is such a high-profile one, and the fact that he is still a heavyweight boxer that could go for the world title, that's what sort of puts people's nose out of joint, I think. But this sort of fighting for money has always gone on.
Yeah, well, he is a prize fighter. I mean, there have been lots of freak shows, circus acts, if you like, in the history of boxing. You go back to the 1910s when Jack Johnson, the first African-American heavyweight champion of the world, fought the intellectual Arthur Craven, the nephew of Oscar Wilde, in a bull ring in Spain. 2008, Floyd Mayweather fought the 150-pound Floyd Mayweather fought the 400-pound Big Show on WrestleMania and knocked him out with a knuckle duster. There have been all kinds of fights. Go back to the 70s and Muhammad Ali. It was a fight that never happened, but they talked up the fight with Wilt, the stilt Chamberlain, the basketball player, was 7'1" tall. They got them in a studio. There have been loads of these down the time, and even if you go back in recent times, the crossover fight, Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, that generated $500 million. There have been lots of these. Go back to 13 months ago, the first of the 4 Netflix fights over the last 13 months, where Mike Tyson came back 20 years away against Jake Paul in what was a damp squib, really, in the end. But it's all about the build-up, really, this week, and then what Anthony Joshua wants to do on the night. Does he want to get him out of there quickly and make a statement? Will he be criticised if he doesn't do it quicker than he knocked out Francis Ngannou in 2 rounds in Riyadh? It's all down to what Joshua wants to do, in my view. He's been very cool, calm and collected. Jake Paul has that delusional optimism he talks about. I spoke to his father, Greg, last night. Said he's been in camp with him, and Jake believes if he can just get one big punch on the chin of Anthony Joshua, he's going to go after him and capitalise. It's all talk till that first bell goes. But as you say, most boxers who are offered this opportunity would say yes to it in a heartbeat. David Hayes said the same. Virtually everyone I've spoken to has said the same.
Yeah, So I mean, I know nothing about Jake Paul. I don't think that'll worry him particularly. But that is the question: is if he punched Anthony Joshua really hard in the face, could that end the fight, or is Joshua's chin just, good enough that he'll just be like, in like a movie where like you punch the big henchman and then he just looks at you and then sort of holds your head and throws you over a building,
Well, that will be a moment of realism for him if he does land a big punch on Anthony Joshua and it just feels like he's punching a big rock. The reality is going to dawn on him as the week goes on. I think when he stood next to Anthony Joshua at the press conference, when I was here a month ago, I think he realised what he was up against, this behemoths physical figure. And, look, he's got 1 in 100,000 chances of winning this, I think. He hasn't got a great opportunity to beat Anthony Joshua. Well, he's got an opportunity, but I don't think he's got a great chance of beating Anthony Joshua. If he does beat him, it's not just one of the biggest upsets in boxing history, but in sporting history. So, in many, that's why we're calling it a freak show, because the levels, remember, he's lost, even though he's improved. Jake Paul lost to Tommy Fury in one of his 13 fights. Could you ever see Tommy Fury in a ring with Anthony Joshua? No, but it's because of the 75 million subscribers he's got on the internet, on his digital followers, that he is being used as a great marketeer to get Netflix into the market. That's all it is to get Netflix into the streaming market.
Terence Crawford has announced his retirement. Gareth, could you please give us a potted history of his career and tell us why he's so great? I mean, he's unbeaten, isn't he?
Yeah, unbeaten in 42 fights. He's 38 now. It's not a surprise that he's calling time on his career. 3-weight undisputed champion, 5-weight world champion. He's done it all. He's earned massive money towards the end of his career. An incredible win in Las Vegas in September, 60,000 at the Allegiant Stadium against Saul Canelo Alvarez. He couldn't pick a better time to go out, in my view, but we've seen it so many times. And Turki Al-Sheikh, who is the master of bringing these fighters back, could offer him a truckload of gold for one more fight. There's talk about another Canelo fight, but if he does walk away now, the victory over Errol Spence, a massive fight in America. We first saw him over 10 years ago defeat Ricky Burns in Scotland to win the lightweight title when we didn't know at the time that he was going to go on to such greatness. He truly is a modern great, a switch hitter, able to adapt and adopt his techniques in the ring, a brilliant fighter, and of course now bearing comparison with the great Floyd Mayweather, who was 50-0, and the great Sugar Ray Leonard, who really were the two great Americans around that weight over the last 40 years. So if he has called time, and his PR team have put out press releases, he's made it very clear he will sit with a great legacy, which will only get better if he doesn't come back.
Lovely stuff, Gareth. Thanks for coming on, pal.
Thank you, Gareth.
Always a pleasure. I'm going into the sea right now.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I can't think of anyone more Miami than Gareth A. Davis.
Yeah, absolutely. There he is. Just you can see him walking off now. Hopefully his swimming shorts are more robust than
yours.
Mine were.
Yeah, of course.
Earlier today. You did say before the show, Terence Crawford not to be muddled up with Michael Crawford. Who I said also unbeaten.
He was unbeaten.
And we never saw that fight.
We never saw that. We'd love to see that, Crawford v. Crawford. I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm going to hit you so hard in the ring.
It's
got a bit of trouble.
It's tricky to trash
Terence
talk.
Crawford is trying to punch me in the face.
And then he'd sing a song from Phantom.
Exactly.
After he wins. The Sizzler, hello mate. He says, "Is this the first boxing segment that Max has not said I could knock anyone out?" It's just taken as read now.
Everyone knows it, and it's actually he could deck anyone.
Yeah. So. Everyone, as Steve has. Because people say it was, Tyson or Ali who said, everyone comes with a plan till I punch them in the mouth. But actually, I was the first person.
Oh, really?
To say that. Yeah, I was. So the latest episode of Talk Boxing with Simon Jordan, Spencer Oliver, Duke McKenzie and Pat Brown is now live on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. And this Sunday, Lagos hosts Chaos in the Ring, headlined by Lawrence Okoli versus Ebenezer Tete, and a stacked card featuring heavyweight stars David Adelaide and former Olympic champion Tony Yoka. Watch this Sunday only on DAZN.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Yes, lots of people saying, it's all scripted, this AJ.
Oh.
See, the trouble is I've caught myself thinking, well, I mean, obviously I can't be bothered to watch it, but if he does win, that's how they catch you, isn't it?
That's how they get you. Well, let's see what it's like. But also, you've got what if AJ comes round, first round, poof, straight off,
bang,
knocks him out.
1 inch punch,
one inch
punch,
poof,
see
1 inch punch. What are you, 12?
1 inch punch. You've got to have all these. You've got
a 1 inch punch.
When I grew up, you had to have all these in your toolkit. You need to have all of these. You need to be the master of the thumb war. All these things, Otherwise, you're not going to get out the mean streets of central Cambridge, mate. Alex Crook joins us in just a second. We will look at his transfer notebook. Good afternoon. You are listening to talkSPORT. Max Rushden and Charlie Baker with you until 4. Alex Crook joins us to review his transfer notebook. But before that, Crookie, Toby said in the Sport, it's really sad news about this young footballer, Ethan McLeod, 21, who was travelling back from a game last night and was involved in a fatal car accident. It's sort of beyond words, isn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Just absolutely tragic news, and our thoughts go out to everybody at Macclesfield. And it goes without saying, all of Ethan McLeod's friends and family. As you say, he was travelling back from a game at Bedford Town in the National League North last night when there was a car accident on the M1 in which tragically Ethan has lost his life. In the statement on the Macclesfield website, they described him as an incredibly talented and well-respected member of the first team squad, who, as they say, had his whole life ahead of him. And obviously with Christmas on the doorstep, it always hits harder, doesn't it, at this time of year. They're due to play again, Macclesfield, at the weekend. I would imagine that game will probably be called off. And they've got a glamour FA Cup third-round tie against Macclesfield, which is live on the talkSPORT network. It's live on television, I believe, as well. And I'd imagine that will be a particularly emotional occasion come the turn of the year.
Yeah, Chris got in touch to say I was watching him warm up last night. A prospect for sure. He played in Saturday's win at South Shields, the FA Trophy. He'll be sorely missed. Rest in peace. And condolences, of course, from everyone at talkSPORT. And as always, when you're having these conversations, Cricket, it seems totally banal and ridiculous to move on to who's going to go where in the transfer window. But that is, that's the conversation that we're going to move on to. However sort of dumb it feels. Where do you want to start? Bruno Fernandes, the discussions of him talking about how he felt when he thought that the club wanted to let him go to Saudi, or at least would let him go if they got a big enough offer.
Yeah, obviously this is a bit of a bombshell interview. It's been released in the wake of Monday's incredible 4-4 draw between Manchester United and Bournemouth at Old Trafford. The understanding is that actually he sat down with Portuguese media as far back as October when he was on international duty, and they've only now decided to release these quotes. But certainly they've filled plenty of airtime and plenty of column inches whenever somebody of this stature speaks about a club like Manchester United. That's always going to be the case. And it's interesting, just speaking to people connected to that dressing room, there is a sense, I think, amongst Bruno Fernandes' teammates that maybe this could be the start of an Old Trafford farewell. Maybe this could be his last season at the football club. We know he's got a release clause of around about £57 million that kicks in the summer for overseas clubs. Obviously, there was the Saudi interest last summer, which is what he's talking about, and saying that although Ruben Amorim wanted to keep him, the impression he got is that the board wouldn't stand in his way if he wanted to make the move. Bayern Munich have been mentioned to me as possible suitors. And I've spoken on this a couple of times now, including on the Inside Devils show that we do on YouTube. I don't think if he was to depart at the end of the season, and United is saying he's still part of their long-term plans, but I don't think any United fan would begrudge him. For my money, he's been the best signing since Sir Alex Ferguson left the football club. You look at the goals, you look at the assists. Yes, you can question at times some of the theatrics. Are they befitting of a Manchester United captain? But you wonder at times where the team would be without him. But for all the goals and assists, he's probably not got the silverware that his talent justifies. And if he did get the chance to go and join a club like Bayern Munich, I'd say good luck to him.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things with him is he's a great player, not a great captain. I think that's been part of the problem, that he's been expected to do that role as well. I don't think it's natural to him, Cricket. I don't know what you think.
Well, there's different ways to lead. And I spoke about this with Jim and Simon when I was in the studio yesterday morning. The sort of John Terry, Roy Keane type captains don't really exist anymore, do they? The captains are just not made of that sort of metal, if you like. I'll go back to a story that I always tell when we talk about his credentials. I took my 3 kids up to Old Trafford. They're aged 11 to 15. It was Ruud van Nistelrooy's first game in caretaker charge against Leicester in the League Cup. It was a good win, 5-goal victory. And I said to the kids afterwards, let's just wait and see if you can maybe, get an autograph from one of the players outside the players' entrance. To a man, most of the United players, including Marcus Rashford, which particularly disappointed me at the time, walked past the kids, sort of heads bowed. Obviously, my kids weren't the only ones there. Bruno Fernandes spent an hour signing autographs, posing for pictures. It was a cold Tuesday night from memory. That's captain's behaviour. That's what it means to wear the badge for Manchester United. So I think you can lead in different ways.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see him playing for someone good, is what I was going to say. He's done all this hard work dragging this team around. Just wouldn't it be so enough? He just went, "How I get the ball back from you? This is amazing. Well, this is how this works. This is extraordinary." Palace, you say have started succession planning for Oliver Glasner's possible departure. I mean, he's sort of spoken up. I mean, Palace are pretty well run. All clubs are doing this all the time. Well, you hope they are, don't you? If you are a club, you're hoping. But, they will definitely be looking at who is the next brilliant manager they can find.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the nearer we get towards the summer, and obviously Oliver Glasner is out of contract at the end of the season, the more likely it is that I think he departs. He's sort of expressed publicly, isn't he, that he wasn't particularly happy with the summer transfer market. Maybe didn't feel like he was backed enough by the board there. And as you say, Palace are looking around. A couple of names from La Liga that have been mentioned to me. Jose Bordalas, who's in his second stint in charge at Getafe. Took them into Europe in his first spell, actually, for a relatively small club in Spain. That's no lean achievement. The other name I've been told about is that of Rayo Vallecano boss Inigo Perez. And then there's Liam Rossini, I think I spoke to you about last week, and Palace, one of the clubs who are potentially tracking him. So I think they're going to want an answer from Glasner one way or another, fairly imminently, Palace, if he is planning at all to stay on beyond the end of the season, because if not, this hunt is going to have to step up, isn't it?
And where do you think he's going to end up? I'm assuming he's got a very big club in his sights, if possible.
Yes, I think so. I think he's proven in the Premier League. Obviously, worked wonders at Frankfurt as well. Won that Europa League final against Rangers. I was there in Seville. That was a big achievement at the time. Chelsea have been mentioned as admiring him, but I'm not sure. Does a manager like Oliver Glasner, does he encounter the same frustrations at Chelsea that Enzo Maresca is clearly making public knowledge now? So listen, I think he's got a big job in him. You'd think if Ruben Amorim doesn't see it out at Manchester United, the fact they've built the squad to play the same system that Glasner has worked wonders with at Palace would make him a genuine front runner for that job as well.
Much more fun if Man United go for a manager that insists on playing 4-4-2 and nothing else. Mike Bassett. Talk to me about John Arias at Wolves. I have seen him play a bit, but I couldn't tell you if he's good or not, Crookie.
Well, the stats tell you he's not particularly good. Yet to register a goal or an assist in the Premier League since he came in the summer. He cost £19 million from Fluminense. He was seen as the heir apparent to Mateus Cunha. Hasn't quite worked out like that. And there's a lot of noise coming out of South America now that clubs in Brazil, Palmeiras in particular, would like to take him back to that part of the world. I was told yesterday that his people are saying he's reasonably settled at Molineux, but the impression I get is that if Wolves got their money back, then they'd be tempted to cash in. I'm fascinated to see what this January window looks like for Wolves, because it's almost fruitless, isn't it, trying to chuck money at the problem, because they're not going to stay up. So it wouldn't surprise me if they just kept their powder dry, or maybe sign players proven in the Championship with an eye on next season. But there will be departures, if not this window, then certainly next summer. I would imagine João Gomez will go. And I think it could be one of the biggest mistakes that Wolves have ever made, turning down 65 million for Jürgen Strand-Larsen, because they're not going to get that money again next summer. That is for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to work this out. Is planning for the Championship this year different to just trying to win games in the Premier League? Like, is the approach different? Like, if you said, okay, we're done, how does that change your team selection for the weekend at all?
I think the point you're making is that Wolves have already got a lot of Championship level players, and you're probably right there. Their results suggest that. I think it's really difficult for Rob Edwards now because he's come in. There's been no new manager bounce. I'm not saying that's his fault at all, because I don't think the squad is fit for purpose in the Premier League. But if they go between now and the end of the season and they don't win another game, which I think is possible, bearing in mind they've already lost at home to Burnley, then how do you rebuild confidence next summer and sort of change that negative momentum for a tilt of promotion? I don't think it's a switch that you can flick. So I think they're going to need wholesale changes in that squad just to bring a bit of fresh life.
What do you do?
Well, Cambridge had the record, right? Fever Pitch is a great chapter in Fever Pitch, Nick Hornby writes, where he was studying in Cambridge and they went on this run where they didn't win. They had Derby took it off them, right? But we had that record of the, and it felt like a badge of honour, even though it was before my time. And when Cambridge finally won a game, it was against Newcastle when they had Waddle and Beardsley and all that. And I just wonder if there's a little part, obviously if you go week in, week out, you like to see some wins, but a little part of Wolves fans going, imagine if we didn't win all season. Imagine how it would feel when we got our win.
I don't think they want that. I don't think Wolves fans want that.
I don't think they do, but I didn't like Derby taking that record. I liked that our club was the worst at that thing, but maybe that's just I don't know. I just quite like
football fan mentality, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a record. It's something.
In no
isn't
other
it?
walk of life would you celebrate failure.
Yeah. But it does mean when you do get it, when something expectation ruins sport. If you have expectation, it ruins it. If you qualify for the World Cup easily, you don't care. Look at how Scotland, that Kenny McLean thing. England fans will never have that. We'll never have it because we'll get knocked out in the quarterfinal again. I don't know. I'm wittering now, Crookie, but thank you so much for listening to it.
Thanks, Crookie.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Always a pleasure.
Alex Crook there, and you can get all of the transfer notebook at the website talkSPORT.com. AJ is going to win by first round. Nipples twister, says this text.
Actually, you can't do that in gloves. That's hard in gloves. Yeah,
it is. Like almost more impressive than knocking him out. I said. What are we doing now, Charlie?
We're moving on, and we're going to talk darts any second now with Paul Nicholson, because it's really hotting up at the alley pally.
I was enjoying having a sort of bit of an existential conversation about stuff, and then the show moves on.
I know,
doesn't it?
You can chat about stuff for a bit, but you do have to do the show.
You have to go. You do have to do the show.
You do have to do the show. It's just how it is.
Darts next. Darts. That's what someone yelled.
Darts.
It's not often you associate fan power with Chelsea Football Club, but one of the shining examples of it lies with a group called the Chelsea Pitch Owners. And they've proved to be the thorn in the side of owners past and present who've been dead set on moving stadiums to a larger, more lucrative piece of land. Essentially, the supporters group holds the freehold to the land on which Stamford Bridge sits. Former owner Ken Bates set it up at a time where some unruly property developers tried to evict the club from their ground. In order to prevent this, he established the CPO as a company that owned the pitch and offered the fans the chance to buy a share for £100. As well as that, they also own the rights to the name Chelsea Football Club, so if any owner wants to take them elsewhere, they can't be called Chelsea without the approval from the CPO. Now, in 2011, Roman Abramovich tried and failed to move them away from Stamford Bridge, and this has set a precedent for Todd Bowley and the current power brokers at Chelsea. They know any plan which involves moving from Stamford Bridge will require CPO approval from the now 13,000 fans who own it. There are fans who are concerned that if they stay at the bridge, they'll be left behind their domestic and European rivals who are moving to more commercially successful stadiums. But for the heritage and history lovers, Stamford Bridge is one of the iconic English stadiums, and to move away would be a grave mistake. It might not be as flashy as others, but stadiums like it have something about them that cannot be replaced. One thing's for sure, if Bowley wants to take Chelsea away from their home, he'll have to go through the CPO first.
Step up to the Oki and win the ultimate VIP darts experience on talkSPORT.
Right now, the PDC World Darts Championships underway. talkSPORT and Pitch Experiences could be sending you there on the 23rd of December. The countdown is on. Your entry needs to be in by 4 p.m. tomorrow. You and three mates could be living at large with platinum seats, fine dining, and open bar, VIP access to the 501 Lounge with Russ the Voice Spray, then straight to your prime arena table for the best view in the house. Get ready for an unforgettable Ali Pali Christmas. Here's how to enter.
For your chance to win, text DARTS to 83338. Text costs £2 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 421 7508. Lines close at 4 p.m. tomorrow. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. Your chance to win, text DARTS to 83338 now. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Good luck.
Now let's talk to former darts player and talkSPORT commentator Paul Nicholson on the latest from the PDC. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
I thought the competition really got going yesterday. I thought it really hotted up. I thought Gezi was brilliant last night. I thought the way he was getting in and out. I mean, he missed quite a few doubles, didn't he? But other than that, I thought he was superb.
I think what you've got to get from a first-round tie is a bit of encouragement. I think that's what Gezi Price got yesterday, because when you average 96, which is a very good average in a commanding win by 3-0, if there is still a lot more in the tank, then that in itself is a message to the rest of the field. I don't think many people have sent a message to Littler in this tournament, and maybe Price was sending a little bit of a one last night.
I mean, but he doesn't sound too confident in himself, because he did say, "I am winning. Honestly, I'm not losing. Nobody's beating me this year."
Well, that's Gerwin Price.
It's just what he's like. He's an incredibly confident individual. I mean, it must have been really interesting to have him on the rugby pitch when he was a rugby player. I mean, imagine what he was like in the centre, trying to run through people. You're not getting in my way. I'm going to beat you no matter who you are. I mean, imagine if you came up against someone like Jonah Lomu. That would have been quite interesting. But yeah, I like his attitude. I think one of the biggest hurdles is that he's a Welsh player trying to win this in London. But we are seeing a very different crowd dynamic this year, especially for Gezi last night, where he was getting encouraged. And after the pantomime boos at the start, it seemed like the crowd really wanted to watch him play.
There was a match yesterday, 2 Dutch players, and they both looked good, actually. A young guy who was crying as he started to play, which I thought was, it was good to see a young man do that. But he was so overawed by the occasion and what he'd achieved himself in the sport and what had built up to this. It was really good to see, and then the match was really great.
Yeah, the first couple of sets are really competitive. I've gotten to know Jurjen van der Velde quite well over the last 12 months, and if you know his story, you can understand the tears, because when he lost the World Youth Championship final to fellow Dutch player Gian van Veen, who is now the European champion, he should have won that final and then made his debut previously. And the very next day, he had another chance to get into the World Championship and failed. So it's one of those situations where he thought, am I ever going to get there? Yeah. And when he finally got there yesterday, he said, wow, I've actually made it. So from that regard, I'm really happy that he had Danny Noppert as an opponent, someone that he knows, and he was able to share that moment with Danny. But it didn't last long because Danny was in a rather ruthless mood.
Yeah, he looks an outside bet to me.
His Ali Pali record isn't brilliant. I get the feeling that he's ready to put that right. So last 32 for someone who is provisionally world number 5 at this point in time doesn't seem right. It is correct. But moving forward, I get the feeling Danny Noppert's going to be a problem for a lot of people.
Oh, what happened to our mate, the Kiwi, Haupai Pua? Is he still in?
Has he played yet?
Unfortunately, Haupai did play a little bit earlier in the tournament. He has been eliminated, and after many efforts to get through a World Championship first round, he still hasn't done it, and as a consequence has lost his tour privileges. So back to the drawing board for Haupai, unfortunately.
He did say it was win-win, didn't he? Because he's been living out of a bag in London, and he wants to go home, see his family, and he was excited to go. He came into the studio recently, and he said, whatever happens, it's win-win. So look, welcome back to the Southern Hemisphere. A lot of talk about the Wasp, Paul. Is that, are you just like, oh, come on, give over talking about a wasp buzzing around? I mean, it actually would be quite annoying if I was playing darts and there was a wasp in there.
I've had the wasp back in 2018, and my attitude was just to bat it away, and it was gone. Right. But the problem with wasps is there's quite a lot of them. It's not just one, it's a collection of them. And it's got so silly this year, where the Wasp is on the stage for almost all the games, that the PDC had to put out a press release to tell people why there are so many wasps. I mean, it seems a bit silly, but I was speaking to the press manager, Dave Allen, about it, and everything he was saying was pretty much what was said on the statement about where Ali Pali is. It's next to a lot of gardens and parks, and it seems like they're attracted to the smell and attracted to the warmth. So it makes a lot of sense, and I think we're just going to have to get used to it.
Yeah, sticky floors, aren't they? Basically, what he's saying is don't spill a drop, you lot, and then there'll be fewer
December.
wasps.
I thought wasps died out in December. I thought it was just
they've
too
all gone
cold
to this sort of big sweaty warehouse, haven't they? They've gone to a big sweaty hit warehouse.
Another thing in the bad column for wasps there, that they are attracted to the smell of the Ali Pali at Christmas. Full of men in fancy dress. That's what they like. Wasps, they love a bit of it. Absolutely.
They do. I mean, they obviously love the action as well. So they wouldn't leave Luke Littler alone on opening night. Yeah. And since then, they just can't get enough of the darts. So when it comes down to the fact that the sport is more popular than ever. Wasps are not immune to that. So
just have to embrace
welcome to
it.
the family.
It's going to be like in tennis, where they have to play. Sometimes they're on a hard court, sometimes they're on grass, sometimes they're on whatever.
You think in the future it'll be a man
this is
with
the
a big
Wasp
B,
tournament. This is the Wasp.
A big B beard. If you have a big B winning the darts with a big B beard. Paul, tell us about is the 71-year-old Paul Lim? Is he still there? The 70. We got a great text topic of when you've been beaten by a pensioner off the back of that. But is he still doing it?
Yeah, Paul is in this tournament, and he won his first game against Jeffrey de Graaf. So what he's got next in this tournament is going to be a big, big thing, because it's a rematch with world number 2, Luke Humphries. They played each other a few years ago in 2021's championship when there were no fans there. Now, Luke Humphries lost to Paul Lim that time, and as a consequence of that defeat, Luke Humphries found a way to move forward and get better and to become a more lean dart player and a more athletic-looking fella and a much better player. The thing is, now that Lim gets him again, he's going to get a very different version of Humphries, and Humphries will want to go right through him. And he knows he's going to have the crowd against him, because Paul Lim is everybody's granddad here in London at Christmas time. And he will have the crowd. It'll be a really interesting dynamic. But Paul's a tremendous fella. He's been coming to the World Championship since 1982.
Yeah,
amazing.
I heard him on I think it was with Jeff and Ali on Monday morning, on talkSPORT Sport Breakfast, and he was such a nice guy, and he understood where he was in the sort of darts world. He knew what his level was. And it was a great interview. And his favourite player ever was Eric Bristow to watch. That was his favourite ever. But yeah, look, he's going up against Luke Humphries. Does he have a puncher's chance?
He's always got a chance. If he's still winning tournaments at the age of 71, he's won tournaments in Mongolia for the last 3 seasons. He's still very competitive on the Asian tour. He does all the travelling to Japan and to Malaysia and Singapore and all these different places which are not very close together. He's still willing to do it all. And he's still beating a lot of the better younger players who, and some of them are even in this tournament. So he's still got a puncher's chance. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of resistance he can put up against Humphries, who will be a big favourite.
Good stuff, Paul. Thanks for coming on,
Paul. Thanks, guys.
Paul Nicholson there, former darts player, talkSPORT commentator. You can hear commentary of every match over on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. Henry Winter will join us in just a second, and we'll talk about FIFA giving away a few cheap tickets for the World Cup. Good afternoon. You are listening to Rushden Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Get winter ready with heating and insulation essentials. Next stop, Toolstation. Let's talk about FIFA giving away a small number of $60 tickets for the World Cup.
45 quid.
In the company
They're good people at FIFA.
Oh, yeah. Great, aren't they? Sunday edition co-host, top football journalist Henry Winter. Hey, Henry.
Hello,
you okay?
Henry.
Hi, Max. Hi, Charlie. I'm really just ringing about the vacancy to be Darren Goff's lawnmower driver. I think I'm quite tall. I'm over 5 foot.
You could fit the pedals.
Do the pedals. I've got my own tractor, living in the country. Yeah,
absolutely. You've got your own.
What
Henry
tractor you got,
Winter's
Henry?
His own tractor. You're in a Ferguson.
What have you got?
Yeah, I grew up in the middle of London, and the first chance I had to get a tractor, but unfortunately, much to the mirth of the local villagers, I drove it straight into the river at the bottom of the garden, and it's still got a couple of fish sort of sluicing around in it. But anyway,
City
hope
people,
that doesn't
honestly.
hope that doesn't put Darren off my job application.
It's not a great application, is it?
No, exactly.
It's not amphibious.
The whole village having to pull Henry Winter out of the river at the bottom of his garden. Anyway, FIFA. I don't think they're fit for purpose. If I'm being completely honest, Henry, the way that the pricing of these World Cup tickets is just another in a sort of the longest list of disappointing things about Infantino and the way that football is being run, about people who don't really care about football fans. Do you think this sort of sop is... I mean, listen, anyone getting a ticket they can afford to go to the World Cup is good, but what do you make of FIFA doing this?
Well, I've been on it for about the week. I mean, I know a lot of the top cappers. I know a lot of the, obviously, the England fans, having covered them for 30 odd years. And I've never known them so united. I mean, they follow clubs like you guys do, Cambridge and Torquay. And England is really important, is hugely important for them because it's their trips abroad. It's the crack. It's everything about it, the camaraderie. And I've never known them so united and so angry about one particular issue, because when you think about it, and this is what I don't understand FIFA's position on this, is that FIFA makes so much money from the broadcast deal. You've just seen they announced about half an hour ago that the winner of the World Cup will get $50 million in prize money, and the majority of that is, a lot of that is coming from television. What does television want? And this is an argument we have in with television over here, with the Premier League, is that television wants the backdrop. They want the fans. They want the noise. We saw that during COVID, the games behind closed doors, how wretched those were. So absolutely, the fans should be given a fairer deal on that. And it's just, why alienate the group of fans who are actually those who are most committed to international football, who go to Albania away, who go to Kosovo, who actually make qualifying have a little bit more substance when it's actually been weakened by FIFA, making basically 48 teams qualify, obviously with 3 co-hosts. So I don't understand why this, well, I do understand it because FIFA is about money. And in fairness to them, they are not for profit organisation like the Football Association. The money does get invested in, their foundation schemes around the world and get ploughed back into the national associations, partly because, that keeps Infantino in power. It's a political play as well as a philanthropic. But I just don't understand the logic of alienating the lifeblood of the game.
But that's the point, isn't it? Infantino doesn't care about football fans. He says he does, of course he does, but he doesn't care about football fans. He cares about maintaining his position as the head of FIFA, and what he has, as you know, is enough FA presidents who are in his, people who run the game in different confederations. He has them in his pocket. He's unaccountable and he's unassailable, right? If you wanted to go and say, I'm Henry Winter, I want to run football, you couldn't. You couldn't because of the power that he has. And that's because he gives lots of money to the FAs that he likes.
Well, you know, the late, great Grant Vail, the American journalist who wrote that great book on David Beckham and tragically passed away at the last World Cup. I mean, I work for Sports Illustrated now, and Grant, when he was at Sports Illustrated, actually stood for the FIFA presidency, and he realised very quickly that actually to win any votes, any support was nigh on impossible, because they were all the national associations, the 211 national associations, are so beholden to FIFA and the power brokers at FIFA. So it's very difficult to change there. But there's a sadness in all this, without getting all sort of Shakespearean about it, is that you had an individual in Infantino who was actually quite highly regarded at UEFA, who was a lawyer and was considered a force for good, and actually had what's important about the game. Actually, you know, he was supposedly driven by that. He then steps into FIFA, supposedly as the sort of the crusader who's sorting out the corruption that was there after the great corruption scandal. And, well, I think the corruption's gone, but it's almost like a sort of moral culpability now with the way that he's treating supporters, and obviously taking in a £4 million salary himself. $4 million.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely, Henry. If we're going to, and if we're going to get Shakespearean, heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yeah, absolutely. And the crown should be worn by players. The game is about.
Yeah, and the fans. It's for the fans. And if so, they will point at the World Cup next summer, and I'm sure that the stadiums will be full of people. They will not be full of people who have saved up, scrimped and saved to go and see their international team. They will be full of people there on a jolly, which we know creates zero atmosphere.
You're completely right. I think it's going to be the expat World Cup. I think you're going to get a lot of sort of English people, Scots who live in the United States, who obviously don't have the sort of, so much the cost of accommodation and travel. But who are used to forking out substantial sums to go and watch elite sporting events, whether it's gridiron, basketball, whatever. And they kind of accept that. And it's wrong, but it is the American way. I mean, it's been very interesting following this debate, which has been, look, talkSPORT's been fantastic, and the phone-ins and you guys as presenters absolutely banging the drum for this. And one of the reasons why FIFA have listened, but also the sort of, the invective and the debate on social media has also played its part as well. But what's been really interesting and slightly sad is that a lot of the Americans are saying, well, what's all the fuss about? This is what we do. This is what you do to get into the Super Bowl. But, you don't necessarily go around the world qualifying to get into the Super Bowl as these fans are doing. I mean, I was talking to one fan, a Coventry City fan, CJ, who when the initial costs of the tickets came out, he said he was going through them because he always goes start the tournament, to the friendlies and backs England all the way, see how far they can get. Fantastic. And he knows it's going to cost him a pretty penny. But he was looking at the costs for America, and he was saying, well, he actually stopped counting the costs when he realised it was going to cost more than his wedding.
Yeah.
And I went to his wedding, and it was a good wedding, and it was, and that's what, look, us three are very fortunate because we will go to games and we get in for free. Okay, there's a cost travelling around and all that.
Speak for yourself, Henry.
Well, okay, but I mean, if you go there and do your award-winning show out there, then I'm sure you'll get invited into to games. So look, we're fortunate, but you talk to these fans, the absolute fortunes they spent. Actually, the last two World Cups, Qatar, which you could do on an Oyster card, and Russia, which was fairly cheap, weren't that expensive. But this is going to be horrendous.
I'm also excited that Henry hires himself out at weddings. Just for, average Coventry fans. Nice. This is exciting. If you want Henry Winter, unfortunately, Henry now does dynamic pricing for weddings. So it's into
just
the tens of thousands.
Just the evening do is
just
a couple
the
of
evening.
grand.
$2,000 for that, but he will sing a couple of songs.
But I do deals. I'll throw in a christening for free.
Okay,
that's fine.
And don't ask him to drive your tractor.
He will sing "Come On, Eileen." Yeah, but you don't ask him to drive your tractor. Thank you, Henry. Good stuff.
Thank you, Henry.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Henry Winter. They're back on Sunday morning, of course, at 9:00. talkSPORT's new podcast, "How to Win the World Cup." Matt Ford is hosting it, which is great. He's great. Dives headfirst into the podcast that will hopefully give us all the answers as we learn what it takes to really win the World Cup. Emmanuel Petit and Henning Venn, together at last. They join Matt on this week's edition. Listen now on the talkSPORT app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Formula One. It's a sport often seen as insular and elitist, but it's seen a meteoric rise under its owners Liberty Media, not only in popularity and viewership, but in the ability to almost print money. From greater access to more races, here's how it happened. For decades, Formula One was owned and run by one man, Bernie Ecclestone. He was old school, someone who thought the sport itself was enough, and there was no need for all this modern marketing and social media nonsense. But in 2016, Ecclestone agreed to sell his baby to American group Liberty Media. It cost Liberty Media $4.4 billion, and they quickly got to work. We got an F1 app almost immediately, and teams were allowed to show us more from behind the scenes. One of Liberty's most important deals was with Netflix, which in 2019 brought us Drive to Survive. The effect? An almost 70% rise in viewership for races in the US alone. It's massively benefited Formula One online too, with a rise from 7.8 million followers across its social media platforms in 2016 to around 50 million today. New eyes are on the sport too, with F1's own subscription TV channel, which people can watch anywhere in the world. But the main market they've tapped into is the US. There's now 3 races there a year in Texas, Miami and Las Vegas, and an American-branded team, Cadillac, getting involved in the sport too. More races seems to be the direction of travel. A street circuit in Madrid's being welcomed onto the calendar, while conversations around a Grand Prix in Africa have ramped up in the last few years. More big events could be in the offing too, after the massive F1 75 season launch event in London in 2025. 7.5 million people tuned in to watch it live across the social media channels, and that doesn't include the viewing figures for where it was broadcast on TV in certain countries. It seems Liberty will do whatever they can to grow the F1 brand. Their efforts have been worthwhile too, with Forbes valuing the sport at $17.1 billion back in 2023, almost 4 times more than what they bought it for in 2016. Not bad, considering it's seen as a sport where people just drive around in circles.
Good afternoon. It is H&J, Rushden and Baker version on talkSPORT until 4.
Good afternoon to you.
Now, it depends what you want, Charlie. I've got today's Daily Star, so I've got some up-to-date bits, December 17th, 2025, or I can give you some stuff from the Daily Star, April the 8th, 2021.
Let's mix and match.
Mix and match.
Can I just ask you 3 questions before we start?
Oh, yeah, please do.
When did Shane Ward win the X Factor Max?
When did Shane Ward?
Not very long ago, surely. You think Shane Ward? I mean, that wasn't very long ago, was it?
Well, I will tell you this, that I was once in a restaurant and Shane Ward was in the restaurant, but he had a white shirt on. So I asked him if he could get me some tap water. And it was
nice Shane Ward anecdote. Do you want to guess?
There you go.
Do you want to guess
not many people have one. Not many people have one, do they?
It's good.
So I'm going to say 2010.
2005. Bad Santa. That's a new Christmas film, isn't it? One of the new ones. When did that come out?
Bad Santa.
That's one of the newer Christmas films, isn't it? When did that come out?
I don't think it is one of the new. I mean, I see where you're going with this now. 2000. I don't.
2003. That was 2003.
Okay, right, okay.
And
what did you guess? When did Vera Lynn release?
No. You can date that. That's easy to date. I've got another one there, and I can't. I've just written
You dated Vera Lynn?
Yeah, me and Vera Lynn said we'll meet again. We never did. We never did.
What's your other one?
I don't know. It says 1999, 26, and I've not written down what it was.
This is why Andy Jacobs.
Oh, there we are.
You've got to prepare.
I've given you the answer anyway. I've given you the answer.
Okay, that's fine. Do you want me to guess the question? What is it? Is it a film?
It was a film. Yeah, it was a film. Big film, huge film. No, not a Christmas film. Huge film though.
You're telling me name a big film from 1999?
Yeah,
okay.
Probably the biggest film in 1999.
With Deep Impact.
Oh, no. Star Wars, Phantom Menace. Carry on with yours, Max. Go on.
That's okay. I'll tell you what, I'll do it and you can tell me if this is from 2021 or from today.
Okay.
This should be easy. A Premier League club has vowed to plant at least 3,000 trees in an ambitious 4-year plan.
Okay, yeah.
Southampton FC will plant 250 trees for every academy player who makes a first-team debut.
Yeah.
The homegrown initiative is part of the club's drive to be carbon neutral by 2030. Sure. Academy graduate Dan Nlundulu, 21, kicked things off with his debut against Everton. He said, quote, "It's great to know I have 250 trees being planted."
Sure.
Was that 2021 or is that today?
I think it was 2021. I'm just seeing where he played. He currently plays at St Mirren.
He won the League Cup for St Mirren. He had a bit of an odd loan. He had a bad loan spell with us, and so I was surprised to see him when I watched the St Mirren highlights. What a brilliant moment! There's just
I love
about.
I mean, I'm sorry for Celtic fans, obviously, but you've won quite a lot.
They've won loads. They've won loads.
But for St Mirren, the boys from Paisley there, just winning.
And actually, I was chatting to Jonathan Wilson on a podcast this morning, and we were talking about highlights of this year, and actually, it's the number of teams that have won something that don't expect to win things.
Yeah.
So St Mirren, Palace,
Wigan,
Spurs. No, I'm thinking just this year.
Oh, just this year, sure. Okay.
Yeah, just this year.
Yeah.
That's been a good thing about this year.
Ever.
Not ever, just this year.
I like it.
And so, that was, I like that one. Here's one then. Okay,
Can I just read you Dan Nlundulu's goal scoring record, seeing as he is a striker?
Yeah, I know it's not great because we signed
Southampton, 12 appearances, no goals. Lincoln City, 16 appearances, 1 goal. Cheltenham, 4-1. Cheltenham, 23 appearances, 4 goals. Bolton, 13-1. Cambridge on loan, 25-4. You had one of his better hit rates, but then 11 appearances and 2 goals for St Mirren.
Yes, but he does other stuff, to give Nlundulu is fair, because they'll do a big phone-in on this on Drive.
Yeah, of course they will.
He's not just a poacher. He's not Scott McLeish, right? This guy is working the channels.
Oh, he's doing
he's doing everything.
Okay, good stuff.
He's doing everything. Okay, is this from April the 8th, 2021 or December the 17th, 2025? Cricket fans are mad on Ben Stokes' mini mullet, despite England's hair-raising start to the Ashes tour. He has scored one big win, apparently, with his trendy new Barnett, sparking a comeback of the much-maligned trim. Fashion bosses, whoever they may be, say his baby mullet, he's got a baby mullet, is set to rule 2026. And blokes will be queuing up to get one.
Sort of gave
and
it
this
away.
is good. Hair expert Nate Abbott, welcome Nate, says the mullet refuses to disappear, but it is getting more refined. So there we are.
So how is it a baby mullet? I mean, I'd love to see it on this note. I'd love to see a baby with a mullet.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, isn't it?
What is a baby mullet compared to a normal? Because all the rugger lads, all the lads my son's age, they all have mullets. They've all got the mullets now.
God.
So what's a baby mullet? Terrible. A more refined version?
Well, I think the old mullet is sort of, it's Ian Marshall, or it's the wrestler Shawn Michaels.
Chris Waddle, isn't it?
It's
Waddle,
Def Leppard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas these ones are a bit more, they've sort of got a bit more, they're short.
Okay.
It's just makes it look like you've got quite a long head.
Because they'd say about a mullet, wouldn't they? Normally, they'd say business at the front, party at the back. That's what they always used to say. So this is business at the front, maybe a nice couple of drinks and something to eat at the back. Just a little bit more refined.
I think so. Gastro pub at the back. Business at the front.
Maybe a little snooze and then
A pair of Sir Winston Churchill's velvet slippers have sold for how much?
People love Winston Churchill, don't they? They're really into it.
They do. Yeah, people are really into him. Yeah,
really into him. What was he doing with the slippers? Was he drinking his special brew?
I don't know.
They formulated special brew for.
I'll give you all the information I have. Dating back to the 1950s, the luxury slippers are embroidered with the wartime leader's initials. An initialed pair of Sir Winston Churchill's velvet slippers have sold for
WC on the. I mean, that would give some people some laughs, wouldn't it? WC on your slippers.
Yeah.
Sold
like,
for
£22,000. £39,000 and £40. That's good, isn't it?
That's very
Here's
good.
another money-based question. A couple's 87 pet guinea pigs are costing them how much a month on vegetables?
Too much.
I'll give you a clue.
Are they guinea pig breeders, or are they just got to what's happening with the guinea pigs?
Sophie Mason, 31, and her husband Mark, 45, have had to convert their yard on a Lincoln RAF base. Yeah. The huge herd now has had 200,000 Instagram fans. This was 2021. They might be huge now. Yeah. They make me smile every day, said Sophie. It's the end of the article. It's not in-depth. It's not, it's not...
What are they there to? They're getting ready for a different animal, I'm assuming, because these are just the guinea pigs. So make myself laugh. I can only apologise.
No, it was a good one. I enjoyed it.
What was the question you were asking me, Max?
How much are they spending a month on vegetables in 2021?
In 2021? Well, a lot of inflation, although it has gone down this week. Inflation, Max. Okay. Which is good news, isn't it?
There we are. Finance news. Bring back Hank Potts. Here we go.
I'm going to say a month, 300 a month.
560.
Okay.
Dylan says, my son has the baby mullet hairstyle.
Okay, yeah, well done, Dylan.
So actually, it's at the moment, young Ian, both of them, but, they're Australian, aren't they? What am I going to do?
They're Aussies. They're going to definitely have. They will definitely have.
Ingrained.
Exactly.
Yeah. It sort of comes in and out of fashion.
They'll be loving the Ashes, weren't they, your sons, Max?
Oh, absolutely
loving
buzzing.
the Ashes, giving you it all the
time.
time.
Yeah. They're sledging, top sledging. There you go, you loser.
You say, why are you so fat, mate? They're like that to you. Why are you so fat? And you can reply, because every time I eat a biscuit.
No.
A bit early for the facts of life, Dad.
Young Willie Rushden is only 10 months old.
Yeah.
His first word was, you loser. That's what he called us. I can't believe it. Anyway, we'll do some Celtic next. Wilfred Nancy's been posting Venn diagrams. At least we think it's him. And which is what you want from your football manager, And Jim Burke, Bastard Jim, host of the RGC Celtic podcast, will join us in just a second. Johnny says you're covering for H&J. Why aren't you calling yourselves R&B? We should. Should we only?
No,
play
this show is forever H&J.
Well, of course it is. But should we play R&B? Should we just come out with that?
Yeah, we'd love that.
Just,
which sort of R&B? The sort of modern sleazy type, Max? Or
I think
or
so.
the old school sort of.
Listen. Well, what I want to do is make this show more modern and sleazier. They're the two dreams that I have.
More bumping, more grinding on H&J.
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong between 1 and 4. Just a little bit. Anyway, Celtic play tonight. Play Dundee United, don't they? Wilfred Nancy has got off to a brilliant start. 3 defeats, including losing to Hearts and losing to Roma, getting humped by Roma, and then losing to St Mirren in the League Cup final. Pop legend, Celtic fan Rod Stewart joined Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist on breakfast this morning, and he gave his thoughts after the first 3 games.
And I don't want to run this Nancy guy down because I don't know him, but I see him in interviews and I can't quite understand what he's saying. And I think if he talks to the players like that, they certainly don't know what he's talking about. So there's a breakdown there for a start. But listen, we got to get over tonight,
Yeah. Let's talk to the host of the RGC Celtic podcast, friend of the show, Jim Burke. Hey, Jim, how are
Jim.
you?
Good day, gentlemen. How are we?
Happy birthday to you for yesterday, I believe, Jim.
Thank you. Just the 62 years.
Wow,
marvellous.
Congratulations. That's what I said. I wanted to make this show more modern and sleazier, and we've got you straight on. Do you agree with Rod Stewart, Jim, on all aspects of life?
I think we'll step back from the I can't understand that foreign accent bit. Okay, we'll walk. I know it might sit with a certain demographic, but possibly not with me. It's more just the fact that before he came in, we had in the domestic game, we had conceded 2 goals, 2 penalties. Since he's come in, we've shipped, I think, 8 goals now, right?
Right.
In 3 games. The team look clueless. I can't see what he's trying to achieve. And there's been some Celtic commentators on saying, give him time, give him time. I know this sounds knee-jerk. Maybe it's just age, but I just don't think he's the right fit. I just don't think he understands
Venn diagrams and tactics boards. It does feel a bit sort of studenty, doesn't it?
Oh,
Jim, what we're doing next?
Boards are okay.
Tie-dye? What's next?
They're not, Max. Tactic board aren't okay next to the pitch. They're okay, at the team meeting the day before, or before the game kicks off or at half time. You don't pull your captain over during a game and show him a tactics board. Because if you're doing that, then you've got something wrong with your tactics.
Good to change. It's in-game management. He wants a quick game of Travel Othello, and there he just finds the nearest person and says, "Let's do this." I mean, the Venn diagram, is this definitely him? I don't know. I mean,
we think it is, but not only that, he's protected his account.
Right
now, you know how they do that kind of. We've got a horrible feeling it is him.
I don't know what that means.
The problem is it's not that kind of thing. You're looking at Nancy and going, or Nancy and going, that doesn't look like the sort of thing he would do. It absolutely looks like the sort of thing he would do.
But the thing is, I was saying this to Charlie, the funny thing about this kind of, sort of elite performance world, right? The Venn diagram, if you haven't seen it, it has one circle that says things that matter, and it has one circle that says things you can control, and the little bit that overlaps is coloured in. It says what you should focus on. And the point is, when you strip it back, he's right. Like, there's no point wasting your energy on things you can't control. You might as well focus on things that actually matter. So he's not. This Venn diagram, as a lesson for life, is not wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Max, are you trying to muscle in on another famous podcast host, Patch? Are we getting the medium to high performance podcast anytime soon?
I don't know if you've seen Jim as well. He's had it painted on the walls of these Celtic dressing rooms, "Live, Love, Laugh." Which,
yes, I've seen that, Charlie.
I don't know if you've seen that. And I think that can teach us all something as well.
It's protein shake o'clock as well. He's got that as well.
You don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps. He's got one of those. I saw Ewan Murray, the Guardian Scottish football correspondent, Jim, posting that the Celtic players clearly he doesn't have the players to play the system that he wants to play. Exactly. And clearly, you had a lot of success with Postecoglou, who started badly, wanting to play a system, and people said the Celtic players can't play the system, and then they worked this out. And that doesn't mean history will repeat itself, but there's precedent there of a manager that starts badly and has a way of playing.
Well, we're not comparing apple with apple, as you know, and you were before Postecoglou came to Celtic, you were banging the drum saying, "Look, this guy's different class." Mm-hmm. There is nobody in the media firmament who was doing the same for Willifred, I'm afraid. But also, you could see. I know I don't want to do the body language thing, but I turned to my mate's son that was sitting at the game on Sunday when we went 2-1 down, and I said to him, "Does anybody in that team's body language suggest to you that they're capable of pulling this back?" And the answer was no. And then I pointed to the end behind the goals, and I said to him, "And you know what? There's nobody in there believes it either." So already, even although it's only 3 games, and I know we've won so many trophies, and a lot of people will listen to this saying, "Why are Celtic fans moaning?" Well, we're moaning because we're being run really badly, and we're making problems for ourselves, and people saying, that this is a small number of malcontented ultras and whatever. This isn't. As I said, I'm 62. I am in what they call the Celtic Da demographic, as are the 2 other guys in the podcast, and we are.
Yeah, they'll have done their due diligence, obviously. The guy's not come from nothing, from nowhere, but it's just whether you trust the people doing the due diligence, but also if you trust the players who obviously loved being under Sean Maloney and Martin O'Neill. And when that suddenly goes, you know what happens with players? They can down tools. They can just go, "We're not doing it." I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but they can do that. I've seen it happen many times.
Well, the thing is, right, on our pod on Monday, we had a an ex-pro footballer and coach. He was on the coaching staff with Paul Ince for a while and Alec Ray. And we got him on because we're just ranting old men. And we thought, well, let's get somebody on who might know what they're talking about.
How do you not have a talkSPORT show, Jim?
Yes, I know. It's on its way. But we were... so we got him on and he just walked us through some of the unbelievable, just basic things that weren't happening. Like players clearly not knowing what position they should be taking up in certain situations. Players that clearly didn't have the attributes to play in the positions they were asked to be playing. Now, that's not a recipe for success. That's not a recipe for success. And the fact is, that happened in the first game. I mean, the one that Davey was horrified with, we went into a game against Roma with only 3 defenders on the pitch. The 2 wide players are wingers. And again, Davey said it, you can make fullbacks into wingers, you can't make wingers into fullbacks, right? It just doesn't work. And he seems incapable of grasping the fact that he doesn't have the players to do it.
If he loses today, what do you think happens?
What happens is I have a theory, and it is only my theory, that something might happen for one reason and one reason only. Is that there is only one qualifying place in the Champions League this year, and that's for the champions only. So we need to win the league this year if they want Champions League. So the fact that if the WhatsApp rumours are true, the players aren't happy with him, that the guy who appointed him, he was in charge of the signings in the summer, they've been a disaster. Maybe it's a case that to make sure that we get a chance at the Champions League, they'll bag the 2 of them. But I can't stress enough that this isn't just the kind of young entitled people feeling that something's deeply wrong at the club. These are people like myself that have been fans and went through the really grim times in the 90s. We know that this is not a good time and something needs to change. And one of the first changes is going to have to be the manager and the guy appointed him.
Apart from that, all sounds like it's going swimmingly.
And a happy birthday to you too.
Yeah, happy birthday. Cheers, Jim. Thanks for coming on, pal.
Thanks for that. Goodie, mate.
Pastor Jim from the RGC Celtic podcast. We'll keep you posted on that game. Massive game for Wilfred Nancy at Dundee United tonight. What's coming up? We're going to look ahead to all the games in the Women's Champions League tonight, and we'll look ahead to the Carabao Cup quarterfinals too.
League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Some are pretty straightforward. Arsenal are the Gunners because they were founded by a group of munitions workers, and Bournemouth are the Cherries because their old stadium was built right next to a cherry orchard. Then there's Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were 2 local toffee shops. Ipswich Town nicked their nickname off their opponents in the late 90s, Birmingham. The term Tractor Boys was chanted as a way to tease the team about their farming background, but they started using it themselves as a way to cheer on the team in victory instead. Take that, Birmingham. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire's also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Crystal Palace's nickname came from an extreme makeover. They were having a nightmare run in the 70s, and when they were relegated, their manager, Malcolm Allison, wasn't having it. I know what will make us better, he thought, a new nickname. The Strong and Deadly Eagle sounded like a pretty good bet. And there's more to that story. Brighton used Palace's nickname to inspire their own. Ooh, bird, they thought. Let's just pick a different one for us. And so, in a heated match between the 2 teams back in 1976, when Palace fans began chanting "Eagles, Eagles," Brighton fans had the perfect reply: "Seagulls, Seagulls." So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Power on talkSPORT. Check out Paddy's latest offers on the Paddy Power app or at paddypower.com.
18+, begambleaware.org.
News now have a special bet builder offer on this weekend's Anthony Joshua Jake Paul fight from our official H&J betting partner Paddy Power. They have an online exclusive offer for money back as a free bet on losing bet builders if Joshua doesn't win by knockout. Place a £5 to £25 bet builder on Joshua v Jake Paul. Get it back as a free bet if Joshua doesn't knock Jake Paul out. So even if you back Jake Paul and he manages to win, you're not losing out. This offer applies to your first pre-fight bet builder placed after 1 p.m. from this Thursday, the 18th of December 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Go to paddypower.com for details. 18+, begambleaware.org. Joshua is 14-1 on to win the fight, 10-1 for a 60-second knockout, 3-1 to end the fight in the first round. Paul is 13-2 to deliver a shock win, and 6-1 on to hit the canvas. Or it could go the distance, 3-1. There you go.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. Check out Paddy's latest offers on the Paddy Power app or at paddypower.com.
18+, begambleaware.org.
What are you laughing at, Charlie?
Enjoyed that. Let's move on. Come on.
Oh, I see. Sensible Charlie Baker. Women's Champions League final day of the group stage,
Yes.
the big league. 18 teams in this league. Let's talk to women's football expert Angelina Kelly. Hey, Angelina.
Hey, Angelina.
Hey, guys.
My first question. So it's 18 teams. So top 4 go through automatically, and then the 8 below them are in the playoffs. So it's sort of like it's a half the size of the men's league that lots of our listeners will be used to. Is obviously getting top 4 is good. In the men's Champions League, clearly there are so many games that to not have to play those 2 extra games is massive. Is that the same in the women's game?
Yeah, I think so. And I think you also have to look at, for a team like Manchester United, who this is their first season in the Champions League, they have a much smaller squad than a side like Chelsea or Arsenal. They've just had one of their players, Celine Bizet. She's now out of action because she's having a baby. Obviously, something that doesn't happen in the men's game. So you have all these different situations. So for a team like Man United, they'll want to avoid it, but it will be a struggle for them to get top four. I think they are going to have to do the playoffs. And yeah, the games do come thick and fast. They do have the break over the winter, which is a massive, massive positive. But yeah, teams will be trying to avoid having those extra games.
So there are some really good ones, aren't there? Sorry, Charlie. Arsenal have 9 points, so they're not in the top four yet. So they need a win. Man United, 9 points as well. They go to Juve, who are in fourth place, 1 point ahead. So that is a massive game as well. And Chelsea, who are currently third, but go to Wolfsburg, and that is not an easy game. And Wolfsburg, a win for them would get them in the top four. So it's one of those needing lots of tellies as it stands, table changing all the time.
Yeah, and I guess that's the exciting part of it, but I guess frustrating for some fans part of it, that all these games are happening at the same time tonight. So the table is going to be chopping and changing, but you think of Chelsea and Arsenal, neither have had the strongest starts in the Women's Super League. For Chelsea, this is the one trophy that they haven't won. And speaking to the manager, Sonia Bonpastor, and the players, you can tell that they are desperate for this trophy. So them facing Wolfsburg, who have won the Champions League twice, albeit, over a decade ago, it's a tough place to go, and they'll be a tough team. And, for Arsenal, they're playing Leuven, who they should beat on paper. But like you say, Man United against Juventus, who have not really done that well in Europe over the years. They recently have kind of been dropping out in group stages, etc. But they've had a great resurgence from last season. They've got a couple of really strong players. So for Manchester United, it will be a tough one. And like I say, they've got a much smaller squad. They're in a bit of a vein of bad form. But since it's their only the first time that they're in the Champions League, so long as they get to the next stage, maybe, they won't be too fussed if it does end up them losing to Juventus.
Yeah, Chelsea's so dominant in the WSL over the last few years. They've never managed to win it. Is that because they've always come up against an equally dominant Barcelona side?
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, Barcelona, they win quadruples and trebles for fun, and Arsenal managed to beat them 1-0 in the final last season. Believe it or not, Arsenal almost went into that as the underdogs. People didn't expect them to be able to beat them the way that they did. But you look at Chelsea, they have had a tough time against them. They've already played them in the league phase, and they did actually draw 1-1. Compared to last season in the semi-final, they lost 8-2 on aggregate to them. So we are seeing growth, and at the end of the day, Chelsea lost Emma Hayes. She went over to the USA to captain the national to manage the national side. Yeah. Sorry, they brought in Sonia Bonpastor, who has won the Champions League with Lyon as a player and as a manager. If you want anybody in your dugout to try and get you that Champions League title, it is her.
But it is strange that to look at the Women's Super League table, just to move to that for a second, and not see Chelsea top by a distance, right? It is strange to see them 6 points off. They are second, fine. They've only lost one game this season, but it was to Everton, wasn't it? And you're just thinking that is sort of a nuclear scoreline in the Women's Super League.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Chelsea were the unbeaten side last season. That loss to Everton ended such a long streak of winning and drawing games. It was a shock. The players, I was actually at the game, I spoke to the players, they said, we don't really care about the unbeaten run, but you can tell that it stung them. And Manchester City at the top of the WSL table, they don't have Champions League football. They've got their top players firing on all cylinders. You've got Bunny Shaw, who scored 100 goals for Manchester City in all competitions, over 100 goals now. So they are firing on all cylinders, whereas Chelsea have been a little bit stop and start. They've been kind of, getting the majority of the results that they needed, but considering the firepower that they have, and you could argue the same with Arsenal as well, they've not been taking the WSL by storm as we're used to, but that's what makes it good. You want the WSL to be more competitive. You don't want Chelsea winning it year in, year out. So the fact that it's so tight at the top, and at the moment Manchester City are steaming ahead after this winter break, it really will be all to play for.
I mean, one leveller is unfortunately the amount of injuries that a lot of the top players are having, a lot of amount of ACLs that are coming in. A lot of research being done into that, though, isn't there, Angelina?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it seems like week in, week out, we're hearing about these ACL injuries. You know, England fans will have seen Michelle Adjeman not that long ago go down. We've had Jess Naz for Spurs recently. It's not a coincidence. This keeps happening. We need to be looking into it. So the fact that the research is going into it is what's important. And you hope that as the women's game is growing, there's more investment, etc., that we can kind of get to the bottom of these situations. You know, you look at Arsenal, they've had quite a few injuries. Katie Reid is out with an ACL, but thankfully for them, Leah Williamson is back for Arsenal, which will be absolutely massive for them. But yeah, these injuries are cropping up, and for a side like Chelsea or Arsenal, where you do have a lot of players, you've got normally over 30 players in your roster, versus Man United, where it's a little bit smaller, and other teams in the WSL, they do suffer.
Enjoy tonight, Angelina. Updates
Thanks, Angelina.
on talkSPORT on all the games. So at 8 televisions, Angelina will have watching all the games. Angelina Kelly there. We've got commentary tonight in the Carabao Cup. Man City Brentford's on talkSPORT. 7:30 kickoff. Newcastle Fulham is on talkSPORT 2. We'll look ahead to those games and discuss Chelsea victory at Cardiff with Kwaku Afari in just a second.
night at the Cardiff City Stadium.
This place is absolutely rocking in here, and it's great to see.
Crowd on their feet, Davis shoots, and it's wide.
It's a brilliant club. The amount of support we get from the Cardiff people is extraordinary.
Well, they're playing their football. They're playing the way that they would usually play under Brian Barry Murphy. You've got to admire them for that.
I think overall, between the first half and second half, we deserve to win.
Buonanotte through to Garnacho, in on goal, finds the goal. Chelsea lead.
Bring me and I try to help, so we won, so we are happy.
And G trying to get an angle for a cross away from the defender. He delivers, and the header is in. Turnbull makes it 1-1.
They're not going to give up, and they don't deserve to either.
Pedro Neto with a shot from the angle, it's in! Chelsea have scored again!
The power of the bench is so important in the modern game.
Garnacho can race clear, can he finish it off here for Chelsea? He does!
But they've done this City proud tonight, that is for sure. They've been magnificent.
What a valiant effort from League One Cardiff City. Cardiff 1, Chelsea 3.
Can I just say, Barca Jim was on earlier talking about Celtic, and he said you can't turn wingers into fullbacks. Everybody who's yelled at me to say Matty Cash, I forwarded them on to Jim.
Okay,
So
lovely.
he's got the rage of the Matty Cash lovers. Anyway, let's look back at that victory for Chelsea and look ahead to the two games tonight. Man City Brentford on talkSPORT, and Newcastle Fulham on talkSPORT 2 tonight with Kwaku Afari, broadcaster, friend of the show, Chelsea fan. Welcome, Kwaku.
Hello, Kwaku.
How you getting on, guys?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good.
Very
Thank
good.
you. Lovely Christmassy roll, Nick. You have for the
lovely.
YouTube audience.
It's like he's in a Hallmark film.
He's in a Hallmark film. Yeah,
thank you.
You've just opened a bakery in a big city.
a Hallmark film.
I appreciate
it's a
it. Thank you.
To say you look like you could be in a Hallmark film. You're that anodyne.
And they always go for guys, big handsome guys. Let's talk about football, guys. For goodness sake.
Go on. Look, it was great when, not for you, but it was great when Cardiff equalised. I thought they deserved it. It was a brilliant header. They're a good team. They've got a good manager in Brian Barry Murphy. You obviously had too much in the end, and you don't care. You're in the semi-finals, and it is a great chance for some more silverware.
Yes, it's a great chance for silverware. And like you mentioned, Cardiff did play very, very well. And despite Chelsea winning 3-1, I think the result flattered Maresca's side. Chelsea struggled in passing that game. And when Cardiff pulled themselves level, I was worried. I was worried that this could really turn. But Chelsea managed to see the game through. And like you mentioned, another semi-final for Enzo Maresca as Chelsea manager, his third semi-final. And this is a great opportunity for Chelsea to win. There are still some huge teams in this competition and a couple of games tonight and a game tomorrow. But this is a great opportunity for Chelsea to really go and add to silverware of the Conference League and the Club World Cup. And I back them to do this. Maresca's shown us that despite the fact that Chelsea do go through some dips, his game plans in one-off games is superb. So whoever Chelsea draw in the semi-final, they'll be confident going through.
Big game player.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, he is. I mean, we all really just want to know what he's talking about. Like, you know, you know, when he said, "I love everybody." I love everybody. Like, it is interesting to see what will happen, isn't it? I mean, if he wins stuff, they'll probably just stick with him. But we were talking about it on Sunday, me and Charlie. I was doing the show with you, wasn't I, Charlie? And Chelsea fans were saying that we're not happy with the start. There are lots of season ticket holders who were like, I don't like the football we're seeing.
Yeah, there is a split in the Chelsea fan base in terms of fans who like the football they're seeing and fans who've got a few more questions about Maresca. What I will say is this last week has definitely endeared Maresca to fans a lot more. You heard him being serenaded by the away fans in Cardiff yesterday. And let's be honest, this is a game against a League One side, but the fans really wanted to make a point of showing their support for the manager. And I think what Chelsea fans were missing from Maresca is that kind of bite, the bite that former Chelsea managers had, the likes of a Conte or a Tuchel or Mourinho. Chelsea fans really buy into managers who show their personality as well as dealing with the X's and O's. And Maresca's maybe a little bit more considerate and maybe he thinks about what he says before he says it. But this week has shown us that he has got that bite. And I think if we're trying to find out what's actually going on at Chelsea, for me, it's a wrestle for supremacy. Every new manager that comes into a job, they aren't actually a manager. They're a head coach. Yeah. And over time, when they win games and they win trophies, they eventually ascend to a manager. Look at Mikel Arteta, for example. And I think Maresca is looking at the situation and saying, based on the remit, based on the tools I've been given, and based on the results, I feel like I should have a little bit more authority, a little bit more backing from the hierarchy of the football club. And that's what I think's happening right now. And we saw it, or we heard it in his post-match comments, not just in the main press conference, but also in some interviews after the Everton game, where he talked about Cole Palmer being his best player. And he made a point of saying Cole Palmer is our best player, which you don't hear managers do.
No.
You hear managers talk about players being their most important player or they're a very important player, but never outright saying he's their best player. I think he's trying to highlight the fact that he's done the job this season without his best player in Cole Palmer for the majority of the season, and without his best defender in Levi Colwill for the whole of the season. I think he thinks he deserves a bit more respect than he's getting.
Do you think he's messaging the England manager a little bit there as well? Do you think that's sort of thing that managers do when they like a player? Want him to get in the international side?
No, I think he's singularly focused on his job at Chelsea. Okay. It helps that Thomas Tuchel was at Stamford Bridge to see Cole Palmer score for Chelsea, his first goal in a long time in a Chelsea shirt. But I think it's all about Maresca's relationship with the people that employ him. And I think the biggest issue is with Begdad Bali, who's the majority shareholder and the majority owner of Chelsea. And I think this will rumble on. This is one to watch closely, because these owners have shown us with previous managers, they inherited Thomas Tuchel, got rid of him in short order. They brought in Pochettino, who seemed to be their man. Again, a little bit combustible towards the end. He did a similar thing to Maresca in terms of coming out and publicly stating that he was unhappy in press conferences and interviews, and he was let go. So Maresca needs to be careful, but if he keeps on winning games, it'll be very hard to let him go.
I do like the idea that you say what Chelsea fans don't want is a considerate manager who thinks before he speaks. This is what this is. Couple of games tonight then. This is, I think Newcastle-Fulham, I think it's massive for both of them, right? But I think, Eddie Howe's under... I don't know how much pressure he's under, but Newcastle, especially after that Derby defeat, they really need a win. I would be delighted to see, I don't know when Fulham last won something, but it feels like Johnny Haynes was there, right? So it would be great for them to get that far. But I think this is massive for Newcastle, this game.
Yeah, this is huge for Newcastle. That it was such a poor defeat in the time with Derby. It was, Newcastle fans weren't happy with the way the team performed and obviously the overall result. And this is a competition that they won last year. They're trying to defend their title. And we saw how much it meant to Newcastle fans to pick up that silverware at Wembley last season. And so this is another great opportunity against a Fulham side who started the season slowly, but have managed to pick up form. And that's credit to Marco Silva and the squad there at Fulham, because they've got some very, very good players, namely Harry Wilson, who he's pulling up trees this season. But yeah, I think the focus, from my opinion, or from the outside opinion, is Newcastle, because this is a team that has shown that at their very best they can get results. We saw that against Man City, but at their worst they are a mid-table side, and with the investment in this football club and the expectations from the fans, that's not good enough. And so they'll be fully expecting to beat Fulham and make it to the semi-finals of this competition for a second year in a row. And then who knows what happens from there. Maybe they go on to defend their title, maybe they don't, but they need to make it to the final four.
Brentford have a reasonable record at City, if memory serves me correctly. It was under a different manager, but you give them any hope at the Etihad tonight?
I don't, but when these two sides played in the Premier League earlier this season, I think Brentford were unlucky to lose that game 1-0. Granted, it was at the G-Tech. This game's at the Etihad, and City are rolling. They've won 5 games, their last 5 games in all competitions, and they're scoring a lot of goals, averaging 3 goals a game in those 5 wins. And so, obviously, City are favourites, but anybody who watched that City 3-0 win against Crystal Palace will know that City didn't play amazingly. City got a little bit lucky. And so, despite the fact that they're getting results and they are getting wins, and it looks a little bit ominous for teams in the title race and teams in this competition as well. I do think Man City can be got at, and we have seen it from teams who make it difficult and play in the low block against them this season already. And that's what Brentford are going to do. I feel like a team like Brentford, they sit in the same pot as a Bournemouth and a Brighton, the 3 Bs. These clubs that have been run so well and are punching above their weight, but what they really would love is to mark this era, this successful era, with a trophy. We saw it with Palace last season. We also saw it with Newcastle in this competition. I think if Brentford manage to make it to the semi-final, they'll be looking at lips at the opportunity to win the League Cup.
Thank you, Kwaku.
Thanks, Quakes.
Nice one. Take care.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Max. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Tool Station. Drive is next.